Jensen for the point. Back to Benner through the block and down. Field goal. Back to pass. He'll look to fire deep and intercepted. Reggie diving. He's in.
Halsted Telephone Company and R&J Broadcasting Incorporated is proud to present to you this broadcast on yourliveevent.com.
And a good Friday, October the 1st. This is our Irie Insurance pregame show, where tonight in the capital city of North Dakota in Bismarck, it's the number 1 Bismarck Century Patriots going up against the number 3rd rated, the Fargo Shanley Deacons, here on homecoming night here on October the 1st. I'm Chase Miller alongside with Reggie Funk, and glad you're tuning in to high school football AA style on your live event here between Fargo Shanley and Bismarck Century coming into tonight. Bismarck Century 5-0 on the season, riding a 27-game winning streak. Bismarck Century defeated the Mandan Braves 21-14 a week ago. Century's Brady Dahl had a 4-yard rushing touchdown at the quarterback spot. Trey Hinderer rushed back a 70-yard block field goal for a touchdown, and Peyton Arndt had the game-winning 3-yard rushing touchdown in the second quarter. No one scored in the second half. Mandan scored on a 40-yard pick six, and then a Jablonski 95-yard kickoff return for a touchdown in the 7-point loss for the Braves against Bismarck Century. For Fargo Shanley, good news and bad news a week ago tonight on their homecoming night. Deacon quarterback Michael Rotsberg was injured against Jamestown early in the third quarter after passing for 3 touchdown throws in the first half against the Blue Jays. John Gores led the way with 2 receiving touchdowns, over 200 yards in the win. Deacons 2 losses so far on the year, 3 wins and 2 losses by combined 14 points. Shanley is 0-2 when they give up 28 or more on the season. And a little history between these two teams. They met up last year in the AAA quarterfinals. Bismarck Century won that game 49-28 back on October the 30th. And the Patriots, well, you look back, they've won 6 straight in the series, dating back to 1997 when the last time Fargo Shanley has won. Now, in fairness, last year was their first meeting since 2008, and in 08 and 07 they played. 2000, 99, 98, 97, they played in a row as well. But there was some years of not playing each other here. But the last 6 meetings in this series have gone to the team out in Bismarck and Bismarck Century. Still to come on our Irie Insurance pregame show. Irie Insurance, for all your insurance needs, visit Irie Insurance online at IrieINS.com. We'll take a look at your out-of-town scoreboard. Watford City and Grand Forks River just about to finish up their game at Cushman Field, and Grand Forks keep you comprised of that game as well. Take a look at your latest AA football polls in the state of North Dakota, and we'll hear from Fargo Shanley head football coach. That's Troy Mathern. That's coming up next. It's Fargo Shanley and Bismarck Century tonight. A beautiful night here for homecoming in Bismarck on the first day of October. It's about in the high 70s. Clear skies, a little bit of wind, but for October the 1st, this is perfect weather for Friday Night Lights. Chase Miller again with you, alongside with Reggie Funk. We're back after this, where we'll hear from Fargo Shanley head coach Troy Mathern here on your live event.
The Ada EDA is committed to improving the quality of life for Ada residents by providing assistance to new and small businesses, developing and assisting with affordable housing to provide economic growth in our community, and including building incentives with affordable lots in great locations with amenities, and also city property tax abatement and free city utilities. For information, contact City of Ada 784-5522 or visit the City of Ada website, adamn.gov.
Schedules can be a slippery slope. With yourliveevent.com, that's just not the case. Find schedules for select Minnesota and North Dakota high school athletics at our website. That's www.yourliveevent.com. For schedule updates, follow our social media pages. Never miss again when it comes to scheduling with Your Live Event.
For all your flooring needs, look no further than Carlson Customs Incorporated. From tile, Cortex, and laminate flooring, waterproof floors, shower tiles, and carpet, you are sure to find what you need to update or create the perfect feel in your home or business. Locally owned and operated, Carlson Customs Incorporated. Call Todd at 218-531-0176.
The Fargo show here tonight from the Bowl in Bismarck. It's Fargo Shanley, and alongside the Bismarck Century Patriots with us is Shanley head coach. That's Troy Mather. And Troy, first things first, anytime you have an injury, doesn't matter if it's on a line, special teams, right, a quarterback, that's what we're going to start with here. Michael Rotzberg gets injured after having a nice game against Jamestown the second half. I know you got Bennett Bird in there, and alongside you threw someone else in there as well late in the fourth quarter. What's kind of just the QB situation moving forward now for the Deacons entering tonight?
Yeah, tonight we're going to go with Bennett Bird. Bennett's a senior. He's been a solid quarterback in our program, especially at the junior varsity level. He's always a steady backup, and we'll go with him tonight. But we have Landon Meyer in the backdrop. He's a sophomore. He's our JV quarterback this year. Very competitive kid. He's also going to play some strong safety for us. So we have both hands on deck. Obviously, when you lose your starting quarterback, it hurts just because those other guys don't get a lot of reps in practice. And, unfortunately, that's the way it is in high school football just because the way practice works. But Michael was peaking at the right time, at the right level. Unfortunately, he'll be out a couple weeks, and we know that, but we do know he'll be back, for that last game possibly and into the playoffs. So that's good. But Bennett will get the start tonight, and we're not going to change a thing. The playbook's wide open with him.
You mentioned about Bennett and getting the opportunity. What does a week for him at the quarterback spot, because he did come in there in the second half with Jamestown, what does a week, doesn't matter if it's against Century, West Fargo, Davies, what does that do for someone getting a week of reps before you get to Friday night?
Yeah, no question. And Bennett's been playing a lot on defense, so he's used to the speed of the game. He's used to the environment. He's used to playing. So that's not going to be a surprise to him. And, like I said, he's been a part of our program for 4 years, so he understands our offense. He's very smart. He's probably even a little bit better of a running quarterback, so you might see us run a little bit more tonight with him and do a few different wrinkles with him, so to speak, with our offense. But, he'll be ready to go. We're excited for his opportunity.
Going up against the Bismarck Century, it seems like over the years they have a lot of big guys up front, 6'4", 250, 6'5", 270, no different here with Lucas Schweigert, the senior, obviously on both sides of the ball. What does Bismarck Century up front provide, and did it help maybe playing them last year to kind of know what kind of animal that you're going to get here later tonight, Troy? Yeah,
no question that game last year was valuable, playing them in the playoffs and playing them out at the bowl, where we are tonight. So it's a good opportunity, for our kids. But, yeah, they're always big up front, and we expect that. The nice thing about our offense here, our offense is unique, and we don't run a lot of power football. We don't go through the tackles a lot. So hopefully, we can kind of continue to do our game plan, and hopefully those big boys won't be as big a part of the game. I'm more concerned about what they can do on the offensive side of the ball with our defense, because last year they just moved us, and that's one thing we can't allow happen. We can't have those 15, 16-play drives where they just go 4 yards, 5 yards, and just wear us down. So we got to do things defensively, and I think our defensive staff came up with a good plan, so we'll see how it shakes out.
Peyton Arndt, obviously, he's one of many running backs. It seems like they have 3-4 of them. They kind of go back there, fullback and Bosley Dahl, another dual-threat quarterback. When you go up against a Ron Wingenbach team, what are some things that kind of stand out here in 2021?
They're just so fundamentally sound. You kind of know what they're going to run, but they're just so good at it. They run the pro-style offense, then they'll get to a little bit of spread. Their play action is always top-notch, and it's something that I marvel at as an offensive guy, just the way that they run their play action. It's pretty impressive. And Coach Wingenbach, he's got a great staff. He's got a great team, and those kids know how to win. And that's probably, at the end of the day, the most important thing. When the game's on the line, it doesn't matter, what the score is. Those kids know how to win, and that's kind of why they're on the streak they're on, because when they show up any given Friday night, they expect to win, and they know how to win.
27 straight, as you mentioned there, for Bismarck Century. Final thing for you, Troy. 5 games in, 3-2, but you've been in every game, lost by two to St. Mary's and alongside Cheyenne just by 7 points, 1 possession. What are some of the characteristics that you've seen from your club here so far through a full calendar month now as we flip the calendar to October?
We knew at the start of the season that our schedule was going to be tough, and we're still continuing on, obviously, with that tonight. But I'm very pleased with how our team has progressed. We've had a lot of ups and downs, a lot of inconsistency, but I think we're definitely progressing the right way. We've, for the most part, other than the quarterback, we've stayed healthy. And probably what's needed right now is the amount of depth we've been able to create. So, as we move to the back half of the season, the most important part of the season, to start jockeying ourselves for playoff position, I think we're healthy, and our kids are excited for the opportunity. But, a big test for us tonight.
Thank you, as always, Troy, and best of luck here against the Pats.
All right, thanks for having us.
That, again, head football coach for the Fargo Shanley Deacons, Troy Mather, with us here as Fargo Shanley again 3-2 on the season, squaring off with the 5-0 Bismarck Century Patriots. Earlier in the week, we had an opportunity to sit down as well with Ron Wingenbach, the head coach of Bismarck Century. And one thing that Ron made mention of out in the West in the WDA, they don't see a team like Fargo Shanley in terms of the up-tempo, in terms of the quickness, in terms of the pace. And they feel like, just like Troy said, playing them last year for Shanley against Century, the same for Century Century against Fargo Shanley. Ron Wingenbach said it was probably good to see that in person for full 4 quarters and understand the tempo and what they're going to see. And Ron Wingenbach specifically may mention having to go up against the Deacons, John Gores and Aiden Avai, number 1 and number 2 on the field in terms of their actual numbers, but he said you can put them up as 1A or 1B. If you miss a tackle on Fargo Shanley and particularly on Devine Gores, Ron Wingenbach said it's going to be a long night for Bismarck Century. So a couple of things to make note of is the pace. Also, again, Michael Rotsberg not playing here this evening for the Deacons. Bennett Bird, the senior, is going to start. And then if something happens to Bird, Landon Meyer, the sophomore, would be there. But Fargo Shanley, talking to Troy Mathern early in the week, he said full playbook is going to be open here with Bennett Bird, who had a full week of preparation after Rotsberg got injured a week ago tonight at home on homecoming night against Jamestown. That does it for our Irie Insurance pregame show. When we come back after this, it's the starting lineups and the opening kick from the MDU Resources Community Bowl. Bismarck Century won the toss, elected to defer, so we will see the Deacon offense here on homecoming night in Bismarck against the Patriots. This is AA football on your live event.
The Ada EDA is committed to improving the quality of life for Ada residents by providing assistance to new and small businesses, developing and assisting with affordable housing to provide economic growth in our community, and including building incentives with affordable lots in great locations with amenities, and also city property tax abatement and free city utilities. For information, contact City of Ada 784-5522 or visit the City of Ada website adamn.gov.
Schedules can be a slippery slope. With yourliveevent.com, that's just not the case. Find schedules for select Minnesota and North Dakota high school athletics at our website. That's www.yourliveevent.com. For schedule updates, follow our social media pages. Never miss again when it comes to scheduling with Your Live Event.
For all your flooring needs, look no further than Carlson Customs Incorporated. From tile, Cortex, and laminate flooring, waterproof floors, shower tiles, and carpet, you are sure to find what you need to update or create the perfect feel in your home or business. Locally owned and operated, Carlson Customs Incorporated. Call Todd at 218-531-0176.
The Fargo Jet Center is a full-service general aviation company based at Fargo's Hector International Airport. Book a discovery flight to enjoy a first-hand flying experience while overlooking the beautiful sights over the Fargo-Moorhead, West Fargo area. Any age is welcome for this 45-minute flight. From aircraft sales to flight school training, connect with the Fargo Jet Center at 701-235-3600 or go online to fargojet.com. That's fargojet.com.
Every business has its special needs and its own unique set of challenges. That's why we treat your business just like ours, to make sure you are covered right. Hello, this is Shane with Irie Insurance, and our agents have seen it all, and one slip-up can take a small business years to recover from. That's why it's so important for a small business to work with an insurance company that can save them money but also make sure they are protected. If you own a small business, we would like to work for you. Go to IrieInsurance.com to find a local agent near you.
As we're back here on your live event, Chase Miller alongside with Reggie Funk here on this Friday. Thank you very much for tuning in here to high school athletics here on your live event. Make sure you go to yourliveevent.com and alongside search us on social media for all the upcoming games here throughout the month of October. Also, I'd like to thank our premier sponsor tonight, More Engineering. At More Engineering, they work side by side with clients to find sustainable solutions to the challenges they face, whether it's building a water tower, road, airport, or parking lot. More Engineering looks to improve lives by building strong communities, and they understand the work they do as an investment in the future. For more, go online to moreengineeringinc.com. Let's take a look at the starting lineups first for Fargo Shanley here tonight. The team that's clad in white with those red numerals and the red hat here, as Fargo Shanley will start on the offensive side with the football. They'll go like this at left tackle, Carter Mitchell, the sophomore at 6 foot 220 pounds. At left guard, Luke Lang here for Fargo Shanley, a senior at 230. At center is Brady Boyle, a 6'1 senior at 210. Dylan Carlquist, the right guard, a 6'1 junior at 250. And then the right tackle of Damon Hospodal is safe 6'1 junior at 220 pounds. Fargo Shanley of wide receivers of John Gores and Saka Porter. You both are seniors alongside with Isaac Emnith. And then Tyler Kraft at the wide receiver spot. Aiden Devine, the tailback, with already 1,000 yards from scrimmage on the season, 726 on the ground, 331 receiving. And then Bennett Bird again at quarterback, the 6-foot senior at 175, 11 of 24 through the air with 106 yards. John Gores, the leading receiver for Fargo Shanley, 44 receptions for 645 yards. The Deacons average 27 points per game. Defensively, they give up 19 points per contest. Troy Mathern in his 5th year as the head coach, 34 wins to 10 losses, and a AA title in 2018 under Troy Mathern, in which they won against Bismarck St. Mary's. That's a look at the Fargo Shanley starters. We'll take a look now at the Bismarck Century defensive starters here. The Patriots are on a 4-3 style defense, as Bismarck Century will have defensive ends of Jackson Walls, a 6-foot junior with 1 sack on the year, and Jaden Braun, a 6'1 senior at 260. Nose guard Jacob Burkhardt, a 6'2 junior at 270, and Lucas Schweigert, a 6', 270 defensive tackle. He's had offers to North Dakota and North Dakota State. Is Lucas Schweigert no relation, though, to UND football coach Bubba Schweigert, who has a pretty big game tomorrow night at the Alaris Center with North Dakota State coming to Grand Forks. Linebackers of Ben Manseth and Seth Nelson, and then Jacob Bosley, the 5'10 senior at 185. He wears number 3. You're going to be seeing him flying all over the place. Plays middle linebacker and fullback here for Coach Ron Wingenbach. Corners of Jacob Brenz and Ryan Brynjolfsson. Tate Erickson in the secondary, and Brady Hendricks here for Bismarck Century. Homecoming night for the Century Patriots across the way. Their good student section, awesome pep band to kind of see this game. Nice looking crowd here as well for Fargo Shanley coming into tonight, making the trek from Fargo here to Bismarck. A little bit earlier of a start for a 6:30 o'clock game here on this Friday. Up next for both teams, Bismarck Century after tonight. They will go up against their rival in Bismarck High from the Community Bowl right here at 7 o'clock. Then at West Fargo Cheyenne, and they square off with Minot High on October the 21st. For the Fargo Shanley Deacons up next to close out their schedule at Grand Forks Central from Cushman Field at 4:30 a week from tonight. Then they'll host Grand Forks River and the Rough Riders before closing out the season against West Fargo at Sid Cichy Stadium on October the 21st. Quarterfinals slated for October the 29th, with the semis a week after that, and the Dakota Bowl from the Fargo on November the 12th. Bismarck Century, offensively, they average 32 points per contest, while defensively, they just give up 9 points per game, the most that anyone has scored against Bismarck Century's D this year is West Fargo with 14 and Mandan with 14. Fargo Shanley on the season 3-0 when they hold teams under 28 points, but 0-2 when their opposition scores 28. West Fargo Cheyenne was able to score 36 at home in Bismarck. St. Mary scored 28 2 weeks ago on the north end of Bismarck against the Fargo Shanley Deacons. So a couple of stats, little nuggets there as we wrap up here our Irie Insurance Again pregame show. Chase Miller alongside with Reggie Funk. Thank you very much for watching and tuning into high school football here on this Friday evening. And something a little bit new this year, the QRF, is how they're going to seed the teams when it comes to postseason football. Now, typically, QRF has been used in the state of Minnesota for quite some time, but in recent years in North Dakota, it's been 4 teams from the East, 4 teams from the West. If you're the 1 seed from the East, you play the 4 seed from the West, and respectively. But in QRF, the latest poll in that, Bismarck Century is number 1, followed by Cheyenne at number 2 with just 0.1 differential. Fargo Shanley's 3rd, ahead of West Fargo by 1.8 points. And if it ended today, 3 of the top 4 seeds would be in the East, which would mean Cheyenne, Shanley, and West Fargo would all host a quarterfinal round game as we get ready for this contest. Fargo Davies, a squad that's already out of postseason contention because they went 0-2 against Eastern competition so far, is 5th in the QRF with Mandan 6th, Legacy 7th, Minot 8th, and Bismarck 9th with Williston 10th. Right now, it would be Bismarck would be the 8th seed, Minot the 7, Legacy the 6, Mandan the 5, with West Fargo the 4, Shanley the 3, Cheyenne the 2, and Bismarck Century the 1, again, if that happened today. But there's still a couple more weeks left of high school football to improve your position, or on the opposite side, if you lose a couple of games, you might go down a slot or two. Bismarck Century again won the toss, elected to defer. They'll be kicking from right to left here as the sun is going down a little bit across the Missouri River to our left and a little bit more on the western side. So Bismarck Century will be kicking from their east side of the field, going to the west. John Gore, Zayden Devine stand back respectively at their own 5-yard line here for the Fargo Shanley Deacons. Bismarck Century puts this one on the tee. Paul Osmond doing the honors here as homecoming night from the MDU Resources Community Bowl for Bismarck Century is officially underway at 6:32 on Friday, October the 1st. An end-over end kick with the wind. That'll go into the end zone. An automatic touchback here for Fargo Shanley. Referees of Dennis Reap, the umpire is Corey Peterson, Steve Meyer, the line judge, headline judge of Jason Doctor, and Sean Markovic is the back judge here tonight, your officiating crew at the Resources Community Bowl. Fargo Shanley will open up this game in the first quarter at their own 20-yard line as we get set to get things underway here tonight. Fargo Shanley on the far side of the field. They'll come out here with a shotgun formation. Bird with the clap. Looks for a man. Finds one for a little bit on the, looking for a 5-yard hitch. They were looking for Devine. Devine kind of ran up a little bit into the hash. Instead, that one was thrown more outside at the numbers. And Fargo Shanley with Bird starts off the game with an incompletion. But quickly back to line here for the Deacons. Bismarck Century with 4 down linemen. This one going to be a speed option. Pitched out to Devine. Devine has the crease at 25-30. Devine, then that might be a horse collar tackle. It is. Devine with 14 yards. You get the horse collar on top of it, and that play is going to be a great chunk here for the Fargo Shanley Deacons. Bird just came out, got the defensive end to crash down, and then Devine, he doesn't need much of a lane, able to put on the boosters and get some yards. They'll give it 13 yards on the rush for Devine, and the first penalty of the night will go against Bismarck Century for the horse collar, so add another 15 yards on top of that. And the first penalty of the night, we'll see how costly this proves to be for Bismarck Century. And right back at the line here are the Deacons. 11 seconds off the clock. The Deacons have ran 2 plays and already at midfield. Motion man is Gores. Little read option. This is Devine. Devine puts the helmet down, gets into Bismarck Century territory for the first time tonight. Devine with a healthy 2 yards on the rush. They'll mark it there. Actually, they'll give him 3. Devine now 2 carries for 16 yards. 2 wide receivers left, 2 to the right-hand side. On the left-hand side is Kraft and Soka Porter. Devine to the left of Bird, as Devine making sure he's got his helmet chin strapped in properly, as Bennett just giving him a little look, now ready to go. Motion man is Gores in the backfield. This one going to be a handoff up the middle. Devine has the first pass, the 40, and Devine brings a Patriot with him to the 35. This will be a 14-yard rush for Fargo Shanley, and right now they're opening in some holes up front here for the Deacons. Fargo Shanley, Gores on the near sideline. Bismarck Century switching their linemen around up front, and we're going to have a flag here. This one looks to potentially be on Fargo Shanley for the first time tonight, and it is, as Fargo Shanley will have their first penalty for 5 yards. But the one thing here that Shanley has done early in this contest, and that we're going to see throughout the game, is they'll be a quick no-huddle team, but how much will Bismarck Century be able to sub, particularly with Walls, Schweiger, Burkhardt, and Braun throughout this contest? 3-step drop for Bird. Bird steps up, looks for Gores down the near side, and Gores, does he come up with that one, or is it incomplete? They'll say it's incomplete at the 13-yard line. Bird, though, with a back shoulder play to Gores, just let him enough outside as it's going to be an incompletion. But you got to like the shot that Bird and the Deacons took there. That would have been a gain of 25 yards. Instead brings up 2nd and 15. 1 penalty on both teams on this opening drive. In the gun again, play action. This one goes to the middle. Kraft with it, and Kraft gets popped by Renz, but not before he gets a healthy 9 yards on the catch. Kraft with his first reception of this contest, his 14th of the year, now has 135 yards receiving, and Fargo Shanley makes it a very third and manageable here, 3rd and a long 6, or a long 5 you might call it. This one speed option, they give it to Devine. Devine looks for the crease, has it to the 25, spins off a one pat and gets down at the 21-yard line. Bismarck Century Connor Trahan in on the tackle, but Devine again gets to the edge. Bennett Bird just took about 2 hard steps to the right, then pitched it for 9 yards to Devine. 4 carries for 39 yards for Devine, and Fargo Shanley's knocking on the door in their opening possession. Motion man is Gores. This one will come up the middle. Devine gets a good gain past the 15, puts the shoulder pad down, pops a Patriot there, and Jacob Bosley, but not before 6 yards for Devine. 5 carries for 45 yards for Aiden. And Fargo Shanley with 9:42 left to play here in the opening quarter is on a drive right now here for the Deacons. As this one will come, pitch play. On the pass goes to Gores. Gores gets the 10, pushed out of bounds there. But Fargo Shanley just continues to matriculate down the field ever so effortlessly right now. And Fargo Shanley quickly gets back to the line of scrimmage. Well, one thing that we're seeing here is they don't matter who's at quarterback. They want to get going here for the Deacons after they are able to get 6 yards on that play to Gores for his first reception. Motion man is Gores in the backfield. High snap, handoff, then to Devine. Devine's going to get eaten up in the middle to about the 7-yard line. Give him a 1 yard on the rush. And Fargo Shanley right now will face a 2nd and goal. 9:15 left to play here in the opening quarter. Opening possession here for Fargo Shanley started back at their own 20-yard line. Gone 73 yards so far. Bird, they'll roll out the pocket. Bird looking for Gores in the end zone. Incomplete. In on the coverage for Century, Ryan Brynjolfsson, the 6'1 defensive back. Bird right now 2 of 5 passing for 15 yards, and 3rd and goal upcoming here, and we'll see what the Deacons want to do. They have kicked a field goal this year with Leininger, a 27-yard field goal against West Fargo Cheyenne. This one would be about a 25-yard field goal if they don't get any yards here. Devine, pitch play. Devine has to spin back in. Schweigert, though, gets the bear hug and brings him down. As Devine will get right back to 7, and that's it. They ran that play a couple of times for some success. That time Schweigert was able to sniff it out, and Fargo Shanley decision time here for the Deacons. 25 seconds on the play clock. As I think Troy Mather, what he's going to do right now is just kind of let that clock continue to wind. He'll probably call a timeout here, and then they'll either set up for the field goal, which is at the near hash, which would be, again, around a 25-yard field goal attempt, or you go in your playbook and you start looking at what you're going to have there. As the play clock will go down to 3-2. It's at 1. There's the timeout with 8:13 left to play in the first quarter. Fargo Shanley takes a timeout. We'll break quickly with them. It's the Deacons' 4th and goal at the Century 7 when we come back here on your live event.
More Engineering has been dedicated to finding sustainable engineering solutions for cities across the region for more than 60 years. They offer a wide range of services including civil engineering, land surveying, and environmental services that advance the region's infrastructure. As a 100% employee-owned company, they're committed to providing quality projects and building relationships in the communities they serve. Visit moreengineeringinc.com to learn more. More Engineering, improving lives by building strong communities.
After the timeout, Fargo Shanley and Troy Mathern, they'll come out here with Bennett Bird and look to go for it on 4th and goal, as the Deacons will have 2 timeouts remaining here in this first half. 8:13 left to play in this opening drive that's gone 3 minutes and 47 seconds. Will it result in 6? Motion man is Gores. They handle it. They pitch it to Gores. This one on the turf, and the pitch from the left hand by Bird was a little bit behind Gores. He was unable to get to the edge, so it'll be a loss and a Bismarck Century defensive stand as well. Shanley does a lot of good things on their opening drive, but it comes up short, and that'll actually be a loss of 12 yards for Fargo Shanley. So a turnover on downs for the Deacons, as for the first time tonight, we will see the Century offense, and this will start at their own 19-yard line for Bismarck Century with 8:08 left to play here in the first. Bismarck Century, handoff by Arndt. Arndt is going to get to the line, and then Paul's trying to bring him down. Arndt tries to continue to get another half yard if possible. They'll mark him down to the 22-yard line, so Arndt with 3 yards to start the night for Bismarck Century. Peyton Arndt, a 5'11 junior halfback at 175 pounds, 453 yards coming into tonight with 10 rushing touchdowns to lead the Pats. He averages 5.5 yards per pop from the line of scrimmage. Bismarck Century led by the 6'1 senior Brady Dahl at 195 as they come out I formation. Motion man going right to left in the slot. Handoff, Arndt again. Arndt puts the helmet down, and Fargo Shanley. This one comes out to the near side as Arndt was stopped to begin with, then bounced out late, and then Leininger was there to wrap him up and bring him down to about the 23. So just 1 yard on the rush by Arndt for 4 yards total now on 2 rushes here for Peyton. Fullback of Jacob Bosley. You're going to see a tight end of Sorensen, a number of wide receivers. Trahan and Renz are one of them. Left tackle of Joel Edlin. Walls at left guard. Katie, the center. Schweigert at right guard, and Burkhardt at right tackle here for Bismarck Century. Dahl rolls, looking back to Arndt. Arndt with a catch, breaks one tackle, keeps it pile going. Gonna be looks about a half yard shy of the line to gain at about the 28-yard line. So that'll be 5 yards on the catch. Weren't able to get that second effort and get about an extra half yard on the stretch, and decision time here for Coach Ron Wingenbach. 4th and 1. They will need their own 29 for the first. And if you're Fargo Shanley, this is where you just have to watch the ball here. And the Century Patriots look to go for it with 6:15 left here in the opening quarter. 4th and 1. QB keeper by Dahl. Dahl's going to get met right at the line. It's going to really depend on the spot. The Deacon sideline pointing that Dahl's not going to get it. We'll see what the spot comes here with the line judge and where they kind of put the ball at. Again, he needed the 29-yard line. He did not get it. Dahl gets stuffed at the line, and the Deacon line of Luke Lang, Carlquist, Boyle, and Paul come up large here for Fargo Shanley. Oh, what a stop there. So both teams, a turnover on downs as Bismarck Century's defense now, they're going to be seeing Fargo Shanley here in the first quarter for their second possession with 6:07 left to play in the quarter. Deacons will have it at the Century 28-yard line. Bird going right to the end zone. First play looking for Gores, and Gores was covered. Great defense there by Bismarck Century on the back end, as that one's going to be incomplete. As in on that one was Bryn Jollifson as Gores took a shot here on the first play of this drive. Bird will come out with twins left and right. Bismarck Century, 4-down linemen they'll rush for. A little quick screen goes to Devine. Devine gets the numbers, cuts back in, 20 to the 15, has the first down before he's taken down on the play. Connor Trahan will bring down Devine, but not before Devine gets past the 15 to the 13 for 15 yards. Devine with his first reception of the night. A play that acts pretty much like a run. Just want to get your man in space. And Fargo Shanley knocking on the door yet again. First down. Ball spotted at the Patriot 13. Bird, QB keeper, and Bird gets right to Lucas Schweigert before Schweigert will bring him down for a 2-yard gain. Bird, 8 carries now for 12 yards on the season. And the second possession for Fargo Shanley, they quickly look at the near sideline, get the play, trips right, 1 to left. Bismarck Century will see if they bring more than 4. They will rush for. It's going to be an inside speed option there for Bird, and Bird gets to the 10, and that's about it. Ben Mansmith in on the tackle. Bird gets 1 hard-earned yard, and it makes it 3rd down and 7. One of those where Bird has to make the defensive end, though, stay true on that, where they've ran that play about 4 times now. They've gone every time to the pitch to Devine, so Bird able to keep that one up the middle between the tackles. Bird, shotgun formation. Quick screen comes near side to Gores. Gores gets to 10. The replay comes in here. Gores walks in into the end zone. Touchdown, Deacons. But I think we're going to get this one coming back, and that's going to be a block in the back here on Fargo Shanley. As this is back at the 12-yard line, they're going to call a hold. And the hold will be from the spot of the foul, so negate the points. This one was back at about the 12, and they'll mark it the 13, so it'll go all the way back to about the 23-yard line. A costly penalty there for Fargo Shanley as it takes points off the board, but more importantly, moves them back now all the way to the 23-yard line. Third down and long here for the Deacons. Bird sets up the screen. This is to Devine. Devine then, that gets ducked at the 23. Bismarck Century, but Bosley sniffs that one out. If Bosley doesn't make the tackle, Devine's got some carpet in front of him to run. Instead, it's a fourth down upcoming here for the Deacons. You have to know where Devine and Gores are at all times here as Fargo Shanley will come out and attempt a 40-yard field goal here for the Deacons. It's Cole Jager goes back to his 30-yard line. Emnith is the holder. Clean snap, hold, kick, end over end. That one's going to come up just shy. And Fargo Shanley will have the Patriot defense make a turnover on downs. So missed field goal attempt from 40 yards for the Deacons. That was a 40-yard attempt, and for Bismarck Century, they'll come out here after being stoned at the line a couple of times with the running game. We'll see where they go. Ball spotted at the 20-yard line with 3:49 left to play here in this opening quarter. Bismarck Century with Brady Dahl. Again, under center, we'll get to Fargo Shanley's defensive starting unit after this play. Dahl under center. Arndt looking to the right-hand side, and Arndt's going to get wrapped up right at the line. A nice tackle again by Fargo Shanley as a couple of those guys, Luke Lang, Carl Quist in on that tackle after Arndt gets 2 yards on the gain, and that's it. 3 carries for 6 yards. Linebackers of Emineth, Dukehart, Hodel, and Leininger. Corners, here we've seen Kraft out there. Also Landon Meyer playing safety. And then you have Soka Porter playing here tonight on the outside. And we're going to see a little Hannison as well. This one's going to go to Arndt. Arndt's going to get wrapped past the 25 and gets to about that. And that's about it for Arndt. 3 yards on the rush. Emineth on the tackle. Arndt now 4 carries for 9 yards. And one thing, talking to Coach Madden this week, they said playing Century last year, getting behind and just seeing that running game going, they kind of switched up a little bit of what they wanted to do from a defensive scheme. And early on in this one, they are taking care of Arndt. More importantly, they're wrapping him up on the first man that gets there and flying to the football. 3rd down and 5 here for Century, and we're going to get a false start as there is at least one Bismarck Century Patriot gunning early. So moving back 5 yards here. And for Century, their second flag of the night for 20 yards. Bismarck Century, a squad offensively that has relied a lot on the rush. 298 yards of offense with 193 of those per contest coming on the ground here for the Patriots. 2:30 left to play in the opening quarter. Still scoreless between Fargo Shanley and Bismarck Century. Century trying to win their 28th consecutive game. Fargo Shanley looking to snap a 6-game losing streak against the Pats. Play action. Dahl has some time. Winds up, goes far down the field. Has a man incomplete at the 50-yard line. A little bit of a broken coverage. Pass was intended and incomplete. As in on that one for Bismarck Century was Trahan. Incomplete and fortunate there for Fargo Shanley, as both teams have kind of dodged a bullet, with Century getting stuck at the 29 on a turnover on downs at their own 29. Fargo Shanley unable to do much with it after the big holding penalty after they got in the end zone, but then they had to go for a 40-yard field goal, and Bismarck Century getting a player on late here with 10 seconds on the play clock. Coming on to punt is Osman, stands back at his own 6, and that is a boomer. Kraft has to go all the way, let it bounce at the 30, still rolling. Kraft then tries to get on it. He does at the 23, but not before Osman is able to have nearly a 60-yard punt. That one goes 56 yards, and talk about a turnover not a turnover, but flipping over the field. That's exactly what the punter and Osmond was able to do with the wind at his back. Third possession of this first quarter for Fargo. Shanley will stand back at their own 23-yard line for the Deacons. This with 1:58 left to play in the opening quarter. Bird will come out in the shotgun formation. Bird throws, finds Kraft right at the 30 as they ran a little hitch close to the sticks. 7 yards on the completion to Mr. Kraft. Kraft already with his second reception of the night for 16 yards. Bird now has completed his last 3. He's got 37 yards passing, 5 of 9 through the air. Bird, little quick screen. This will go to Gores. Gores gets the numbers, breaks a tackle, 35-40, and gets pushed out of bounds at the 41-yard line. 11 yards for John Gores. Goes back to what Ron Wingenbach said earlier in the week when we had a chance to talk with him. Number 1 and number 2 for Fargo Shanley. If you make a miss, you're going to give up 5 to 10 yards after the catch or after the first guy that needs to get there. So first down and 10 for the Deacons. Bird rolls right-hand side, steps up, fires. It's going to be picked off by Bismarck Sentry. Bryn Jollifson past the 30, and he's taken down close to the 25-yard line. They'll mark him there at the 25. That'll be a 20-yard interception return, and Fargo Shanley's defense now will have to come out and try to make a big defensive stop. They were looking for the out route, and Bryn Jollifson just kind of baited Bird a little bit into that one, reading the play, and for Fargo Shanley, they'll have their first turnover of the game. And this one comes in the first quarter. Bryn Jollifson comes up with it, and now for Bismarck Sentry, you'll handle it here at Fargo Shanley's 25-yard line. Is this one going to be to Arndt? Arndt on the far side. Flag coming in on the play. Aren't able to get a couple of yards, but this one looks to be a flag on Bismarck Sentry. Sentry with the turnover downs on a punt on their first 2 possessions. The hold again will be from the spot of the foul, and they'll mark them back 10 yards from that. The original line was at the 25. This will go all the way back to the 37. 3 penalties for 30 yards on the night for Sentry. Fargo Shanley 2 for 15. And Bismarck Sentry right now with 72 seconds left to play here in the opening quarter. They'll come out with trips to the near sideline. The tight end of Sorensen lines up to the right of the line. Shotgun formation for Dahl. Dahl, QB keeper, past the 35 to the 30, and Dahl gets met at just past the 30-yard line. Able to get a good 7 yards. They'll mark him there at the 30. Dahl with 2 carries now for 7 yards. Gets a good chunk of that holding penalty back. Still second down, though, and long, as they will need to get to about the Deacon 15-yard line again. Currently about 20 seconds between the play clock and the game clock here, so if Bismarck Sentry keeps this one on the ground and they don't get the first down, this potentially could be the final play of the opening quarter. Fargo Shanley, 5 men at the line, handoff. This goes to Arndt. Arndt tries to bounce it out to the outside, gets the numbers, pick up a block. Arndt now to the 20. He's met there, shy of the first, but still a good run by Arndt of 10 yards before coming in as Kraft with an open field tackle, and third down and very manageable now here for the Patriots. Arndt with his best rush of the night, 5 carries for 19 yards, and that'll be the final play of the opening quarter. After 12 minutes here from the MDU Resource Community Bowl, it's Fargo Shanley scoreless, Bismarck Sentry scoreless. It's homecoming night here for Bismarck Sentry on your live event.
What do basketball, choir, drama club, and marching band all have in common? They're all high school activities that offer learning opportunities not necessarily found in the classroom. They take up just a fraction of a typical North Dakota high school's budget, and they go a long way to giving young people the tools they need to thrive. High school activities, they're more than extracurricular. They're extra important, too. This message presented by the North Dakota High School Activities Association and the North Dakota Interscholastic Athletic Administrators Association.
Going to NDSCS, I found out way more than just like sports. I met a lot of people just on my floor, and then different activities you could go to that were on campus. I for sure will look back at all the memories and love it. My name is Grace, and I'm here for my future.
First week of college, I can't tell you how many friends I've made. It's a family, you know what I mean? Like every time I go to a meeting, like everyone knows my name. They're always kind to me. I love it. I can't explain how much I love it here. My name is Junior, and I'm here for my future.
Back here in the capital city of North Dakota and Bismarck, Fargo, Shanley, and Bismarck Century scoreless. And what it's kind of felt like, at least for the opening 12 minutes, a little bit of a slugfest at particular times. Fargo Shanley's had some big playmaking abilities with Devine and Gores. We've seen their biggest passing play of 15 yards. Devine is able to add a 14-yard and 9-yard rush as well. Bismarck Century stopped on their first 2 possessions, but tried to take a holding penalty and get the first down here on a 3rd and 5. Play action. Dahl rolls to the near side, has an option to run or throw. He's going to keep it. Shanley on pursuit, and Dahl's going to be shy. He's going to be a good yard shy of the first down. Dahl, though, again, they option him out on the boot, have him with either the chance to throw. Boyle comes in on the tackle. They'll give 3 yards on the rush there for Dahl. 3 carries now for 10 yards. Schweigert will come in here now after taking 1 play off, and a 4th down upcoming for Bismarck Century. They will need the 15-yard line here for the Patriots. As this will come out, 4th and about 1.5 yards. Double tight formation for Century. Dahl, handoff, Arndt to left-hand side. Arndt, I'm not sure he got to the 15. I think he's going to be a half-yard shy. He got the yard, but no, he did not get the 15. The refs are pointing towards the west end zone. Shanley's defense comes up with another stop here for the Deacons. 6 carries for 20 yards. A 2nd turnover on downs of the night for Bismarck Century. And I tell you what, been very impressed with Shanley's front 4, and particularly the pursuit at the linebacker spot in terms of how they've been able just to get past Bismarck Century's offensive linemen and then hit Arndt and wrap them up. The thing might be here with 2 teams who are used to putting some points on the board, it might be first team to at least get something going here on the offensive side, and score might be the winner, but going nowhere was Aiden Devine on that play. Getting wrapped up was Ben Mansmith for a 2-yard loss for Devine. Trying to use a little eye candy there with the formation and moving some receivers around, particularly Gores, but Manseth was just on Devine the entire way. This one going to be low, incomplete, looking for Soka Porter. Makes it 3rd down and long, and sometimes talk to coaches about field position. In the opening quarter, Fargo Shanley had it at their own 20-yard line, got all the way down to about the 19 before they were unable to get anything going there on a turnover on downs. And Bismarck Century gets stopped at the 29. Fargo Shanley misses a 40-yard field goal, and that's been the opportunity there for the Deacons. A hard count, though, by Bird looks to give Fargo Shanley a free 5 yards. We'll see what the official says here. Encroachment on the Patriots. Something that Ron Wingenbach's not going to be too happy about. 4 penalties for 35 yards right now. Century with no turnovers. Fargo Shanley currently with 1 with 2 penalties for 15 yards. Bird back in the shotgun. Bird has some time down the middle, has a man, and Fargo Shanley has the first down with Gores. Gores able to get to the 29-yard line, 12 yards on a deep post pattern, and that's a first down for the Deacons. Gores 3 receptions for 29 yards. Bird now with 60 yards through the air. Fargo Shanley will come out again. Bismarck Century rushes 4. This one goes to Soka Porter. Soka Porter gets met at about the 35-yard line by Renz. Not, again, a healthy 7 yards. Jacob Bosley and Renz in on the tackle. But right now, if you're Fargo Shanley, you got to like the pace of what you're playing with. Again, with a backup quarterback in Bennett Bird. Bennett Bird, though, looking like a savvy vet early in this one. Gores gets the numbers. Gores then going to get wrapped and thrown around, but he gets the first down, it looks like, on the spin, not once but twice. On the spin cycle, they needed the 39-yard line. The chains are on the near hash, or on the near sideline, compared to the far, so if they look across the way, and they will give him the first down for 4 yards. Gores now 4 receptions for 33 yards, and Fargo Shanley, 2 timeouts remaining in this first half. Bismarck Century with 3. 9:55 left to play in the second quarter. Devine gets to the 40-yard line, and that's about it. Bismarck Century with Manseth has been just eyeing Devine right now and trying to get in front before either Devine or Gorse puts that foot in the ground and gets north to south. 1 yard on the catch. One thing we're seeing from Fargo Shanley that's beginning to trend, trying to get the ball out of Bird's hands quickly. Devine, handoff right up the middle. Manseth in on the tackle. About 2 yards on the rush by Devine. 9 carries now for 48 yards. This will be spotted at the 42-yard line. The Deacons will need their own 49 for the first. Fargo Shanley with a turnover on downs, a missed field goal on the opening part of this game. As this one for Bird, play action, has some time, goes deep down the middle, has a man, Soka Porter to the 20, to the 10, to the 5, and taken down there. Oh, what a play for Fargo Shanley. This one of 58 yards. The longest play from scrimmage so far here tonight for the Deacons. As Fargo Shanley, this one started again back in the second quarter. Back at their own about 22-yard line here, their fourth possession of this half, and they're knocking on the door. Hand off Devine up the middle. Devine continues to turn, taken down at the 2-yard line. So about a good yard and a half there for Devine on the first and goal. And here comes Fargo Shanley back at it. Leininger lines up to the left, Devine behind him. And we're going to get a timeout here for Coach Ron Wingenbach and Bismarck Century. We'll break. 8:19 left to play in the first half. Fargo Shanley scoreless with Bismarck Century knocking at the door. Second and goal, and we return here on your live event.
If you're in need of Minnesota and or North Dakota high school athletics coverage, head to yourliveevent.com so you don't miss out on moments like these.
Straight up the middle, bounces, he's open, he's down the field, touchdown, Nuggets!
Go to our YouTube page at Your Live Event, powered by Halstead Telephone Company and R&J Broadcasting Incorporated.
Intercepted!
Follow us on Twitter at Your Live Event 1 and on Facebook at Your Live Event.
Back here on your live event, Bismarck Century now with 2 timeouts remaining. Fargo Shanley with 2 timeouts remaining as well after a Soka Porter big play on the reception from Bennett Bird of 58 yards. Gets the Deacons knocking at the door. Bird already now in this contest with over 100, almost 130 yards passing here for Fargo Shanley. But the Deacons want to hit pay dirt first. Motion man is Gores in the backfield. This will be Aiden Devine up the middle. He slithers his way into the end zone. Touchdown, Deacons. With 8:16 left to play in the first half. Shanley strikes first on a 6-yard Devine rushing touchdown. Devine, 11 carries for 52 yards and a score on the night. The play set up by the 58-yard reception Bird, Ahsoka Porter. And coming on for the PAT here for Fargo Shanley is Jager. Emnett the hold, Jager the right-footed boot, just bringing out the pitching wedge, gets that one through, and new score, Fargo Shanley 7, Bismarck Century scoreless, 8:16 left to play here in the opening half on your live event.
If you want help from a firm who has integrity, respect, strives for excellence, and is interested in the benefit of the community, then look no further than Onstead Twitchell Attorneys. Our team of attorneys are dedicated and talented professionals who are committed to improving the lives of their clients and providing custom legal solutions with integrity and excellence. We have offices in West Fargo, Hillsborough, and Castleton, or visit our website at www.onsteadlaw.com.
Well, for Fargo Shanley, that drive goes 84 yards down the field, and they get the touchdown via Aiden Devine. Devine now on the season, 7 rushing touchdowns, 8 total between rushing and receiving, and the Deacons lead it 7-0 here with 8:16 left to play in the first half. And I tell you what, these opening 14 minutes shows that win for Fargo Shanley against Jamestown got a week to prep for Bismarck Century. They are very close to being a 5-0 team without question, or 4-1. But Bismarck Century, they found ways to gut out wins, not the prettiest ways this year, but in previous years, it wasn't so much if a Century was going to win, it was like, the tackle John Bretherton after the return for Bismarck Century for about 12 yards. Regardless, though, for Century fans, for kind of how they played in this one, still only one possession with 8:10 left to play in the opening half, and if Century can just get a little drive going, I think one thing that Fargo Shanley is going to start forcing Century's hand is saying, hey, we want to see if your quarterback, Brady Dahl, can do enough through the air and have them get beaten potentially by Dahl. And here's that throw. Dahl finds a wide open man past the 40 to about the 45-yard line. That's to Nate Anderson. And that's for a good 19 yards. So Dahl now 2 of 3 for 24 yards. Anderson with his first reception of the night. The other one was Arndt, just on a little wheel route that came out. And for Fargo Shanley, we'll see how they play this shotgun formation. We've seen a lot of eyes so far. Now Dahl, QB keeper. Dahl bounces out to left-hand side, gets past the 50, has the first down to the Deacon, 45 of 11 yards. 4 carries now for 21 yards. And what we're seeing here is Bismarck Century tried the eye. They tried to continue to bang it in there with Arndt a couple times left or right. But now they're making a little bit of adjustment here in the second quarter. So the game of chess, how does Fargo Shanley then continue to make a stand? Bismarck Century, 2 turnover on downs and a punt so far on their opening 3 possessions of this contest. High snap, Dahl able to take it, and then he gets wrapped up. Emineth, Isaac comes in on the tackle. Dahl, though, gets 3 yards on the gain. Now 7 carries make that 5 carries for 24 yards for Dahl. Arndt right now 6 carries for 20, and Dahl through the air is 2 of 3 for 24 yards for this Bismarck Century offense. Class 8 polls, Bismarck Century number 1, followed by West Fargo Cheyenne number 2. The remaining teams that are left unbeaten in the state, both at 5-0. Shanley 3, West Fargo 4, with Fargo Davies at number 5. Dahl rolls left-hand side. Leininger comes and puts the pressure on, but Dahl gets the pass away for the first down to the 28-yard line for 14 yards. That's going to be a first down on the far sideline to Schmidt. Century, they just roll out a number of wide receivers on the far side. 3 for 4 now for 36 yards for Dahl. Trips to the right-hand side, play clock at 15, shotgun formation. Dahl, QB keeper. Dahl gets to 25-20, and Jackson Paul able to get enough of them alongside with Kraft there, tripped up past the 20 to the 19-yard line. That's going to be awfully close to the first. They'll give them 9 yards, and what we've seen now on this particular drive is going shotgun formation and allow Dahl to kind of be like Jake the Snake Plummer. Going back to the old Denver Bronco days. I formation, shotgun, little read option, allow him to get him out of the pocket, allow him to boot, get him out of that tackle box, and kind of see what the QB can do here. And right now he's putting on a nice drive. This one, handoff, Arndt. Arndt gets to the 20, then wrapped up there. Isaac Emineth just grabs the right leg of Arndt and brings him down, but not before Payton gets the first. So this will be to the 17-yard line. They'll give him enough for the first down, it looks like, from our vantage point, and it is. Arndt now, 7 carries for 22 yards. 6:09 left to play in the first half. Bismarck Century elected to defer, so they will start with it in the second half. Game that kicked off at 6:37 here tonight. 2 wide receivers split out left-hand side. Hinderer in the slot. Dahl shotgun. Dahl gets the left-hand side, gets to 15, and that's about it. The Deacons get 3 yards on the rush. Leininger in on the tackle. As this one is able to go for 3 yards for Dahl. And the thing is, if you're Fargo Shanley, you've made a couple of turnover on downs so far. Can you do that one more time here for Bismarck Century? Paul Osmond, their kicker, 1 of 5 on field goals so far in the year, but we've seen he's got enough of a leg on kickoff and punts where this is very much in field goal range, but Bismarck Century looking for the tie. Play action, Dahl. Dahl keeps it up the middle on a little read option. Helmet pops off late there for the Deacons. Dahl gets the first down to the 7 and will have a 1st and goal opportunity as Leininger will have to come out for one play. So after the rush there of 3 yards, this one goes all the way to the 7 here for Bismarck Century, and Dahl's the leading rusher, 8 carries for 44 yards on the night. Bismarck Century started this drive at the 8:10 mark. It's taken over 3 minutes here of the second quarter. Dahl a little shake and bake, then Dahl gets taken down at about the 5-yard line. Good job by the Deacons coming up with that tackle and bring him down as Jack Haldis, the junior at 6 foot even, able to come down and bring up Dahl. 2nd and goal now for Bismarck Century. The opening 3 possessions was a lot of Peyton Arndt and try to get some of those offensive linemen and Wolves and Schweigert moving around and see if they can kind of bang and bruise the Deacons up front. The first 3 possessions, Century unable to do much, so they switch it up to the shotgun formation, and now they found something here. This one will come out. Brady Dahl. Dahl gets close to the goal line. He's down at about the 1. So Dahl gets 4 yards, 10 carries now for 50 yards, and 3rd down and goal at the 1. 3 feet away for Bismarck Century to try to tie this one up against the 3rd-ranked Fargo Shanley Deacons. For the Shanley fans that have made the trek from Fargo to Bismarck Century on I-94, starting to make some noise here. Bismarck Century, we'll see if this is a QB keeper with Dahl or if they will try to hand it off with a power bunch in the backfield to Arndt. Handoff. And Arndt gets stuck right at the line for a 2-yard loss. Oh, Fargo Shanley comes in, makes a tackle for a loss. That'll be a loss of 2, and Brady Boyle is the guilty party for Fargo Shanley, and that time it's fine being caught. Arndt, 8 carries now for 20 yards, and it's a 4th and goal here for the Patriots. It would be a point after attempt for the field goal, and Coach Ron Wingenbach wants a timeout. We'll break with him. What a stop, though, by Boyle to come in and wrap up Arndt for the loss. 4th and goal at the 3. Decision time for Wingenbach. Do you go for it, or do you kick the field goal and try to cut into that lead, even though you wouldn't be tied with the Deacons? We'll find out next here on your live event.
Since 1981, Park Christian School has been educating the next generation of leaders in the Fargo, Moorhead, and West Fargo area. Park Christian's thoroughly Christian education and commitment to academic excellence has resulted in a confident tradition of student success. Students graduate from Park Christian School strong in their faith and well prepared for the rigors of college, career, and relationships. Call 218-236-0500 to schedule your visit or go online to parkchristianschool.org.
Jace Miller with you here from the MDU Resources Community Bowl. Reggie Funk handling the camera. Fargo Shanley and Bismarck Century here tonight. Aiden Devine had a 2-yard rushing touchdown to make it 2-0 Fargo Shanley with 8:06 left to play in the first half. Since then, Century had it with 8:10 to start their drive, and they've gone all the way down to the 1. They've taken nearly 5 minutes off the clock, and what they're going to have to do now for Coach Wingenbach is either 1, kick the field goal from 20 yards out, or 2, go for it on 4th down and goal at the 3-yard line. After the timeout, Bismarck Century had just 1 remaining here in the first half. Fargo Shanley does have 2, and with that quick offense, that's a lot of time, and it looks like Bismarck Century will go for it here. 4th and goal at the 3. Dahl under center. Dahl, play action, rolls right-hand side. Dahl has a chance to run or pass. He passes it incomplete. Fargo Shanley comes up with the incompletion, and that's Isaac Emaneth with the sprawling Superman attempt to bat that one down at the goal line. And the Deacons stand for the 3rd time tonight on a turnover on downs. How about the Shanley defense here on this Friday, October the 1st? 3 turnover on downs and a punt, but still not out of any type of dangerous situation here with the ball at the 3-yard line here for Fargo Shanley with 3:08 left to play here in the second quarter. Deacons will come out shotgun formation. Bird, QB keeper, able to get a couple of yards, and get a little bit farther away from that goal line. Bird gets 2 yards on the rush. 3 carries for 5 yards, and if you're Fargo Shanley again, a quick up-tempo type of team, we'll see how much time they kind of want to run off between plays here. You want to at least get 1 first down and make sure Bismarck Century can't use that timeout and get the ball back before halftime as the Patriots get the ball to start the second half. Shotgun formation, Devine to the right-hand side of Bird. Play clock now at 10. 1 wide receiver split out near sideline. Here for the Deacons. Bismarck Century, they will rush for Bird, QB keeper. Bird gets tripped up at about the 10-yard line, so a good 5 yards makes it 3rd down and 3 upcoming, and Coach Ringenbach wants to take a timeout, and we will break with him. It's the final timeout here of the first half for Bismarck Century. 3rd down and 3 for the Deacons at their own 10 when we come back on your live event.
Degelman does put the effort and time into their employees by training them.
It's something that you think you couldn't do, but you can actually do it because you were trained to do it.
Once I got my confidence up, now I just feel pride.
I'm very proud to be leading the team that builds the toughest product in the manufacturing and agricultural industry.
So Bismarck Century is out of timeouts here for the remainder. 2 minutes and 15 seconds left in the half. And for Fargo Shanley, a 3rd and 3 upcoming. Homecoming out again for Bismarck Century. Fargo Shanley trying to do something they haven't done in a while, and that's beat the Patriots since 1997. They've lost their last 6 games, including last year's quarterfinal round loss, trying to get a little revenge here tonight. And they get the false start, and the motion caused Lucas Schweigert to get into the neutral zone, and Fargo Shanley will get a free first down essentially because of that. 5 penalties now for 40 yards. You bring the motion man across. Bennett Bird clapped, and Lucas Schweigert went on the clap, not on the ball, and that allowed a first down for Fargo Shanley. And now here's where the Deacons, more than likely with a 1st and 10, will giddy up and go if they can get a healthy play on this one, trying to get into field goal range, if not another touchdown. Bird pitches it out. This one goes to Gores. Gores spins out of 1 tackle, but can't get out of that on the spin. Seth Nelson in on the coverage there as Nelson comes in from that linebacker spot and able to wrap up Gores. Gores with the rush here for the Deacons, and Fargo Shanley, kind of a decision time for Troy Mather a little bit here. How quickly do you want to go as they'll spread them out? You have a quad to the right-hand side. One in the near sideline is Gores. Bird in the shotgun formation. Bird kind of looks at the play clock a little bit more here, allowing the time to continue to wind. Bismarck Century has 6 men in the box, 4 down linemen, but there's no one over the top. If Fargo Shanley can get a big play, Bird finds Gores. Gores gets close to the first down as he gets taken down out of bounds. The clock will stop. Just really depends on the spot as Gores is just tough to take down, kind of like a wrestler there where you have to hit him at the knee, bring him down at the ankle, and try to pin him. Gores going to be taken out the 24-yard line, so 8 yards on the pitch and catch. Gores now 5 catches for 41 yards, and Fargo Shanley a very 3rd down and manageable here. They will need the 25 for the first. Trips to the right. Devine in the backfield with Bird. Bird, read option. Bird gives it off to Devine. Devine spins, trying to get close to the 25-yard line. If he's shy, it'll be 4th down and inches. The far official is saying that he's shy of the first. The near official comes in for the spot. He needed a 25, ball spotted at the 24-yard line. So it's about a yard here, a half a yard for Devine. And again, Bismarck Century can't call any timeout. So Fargo Shanley, 50 seconds left in the half, 18 seconds on the play clock. It looks like they're going to try to go for it here. Or will Bird try to get Bismarck Century to jump off sides? Bird with the clap, and we got another guy for Bismarck Century to come off sides. The second time that happened on this drive. Burkhardt, the guilty party, 6 penalties for 45 yards, and the Deacons, 1, can now run out the clock if they want, or 2, take a shot or 2 here with 2 timeouts remaining with 38 seconds left to play in the half. Bismarck Century, their safety is no farther than 10 yards from the line of scrimmage. Bird rolls right-hand side, steps up, looks down the field. Bird now sees the pocket collapse, and Gores was just covered up nicely in the back. They were looking for Gores on a deep little hitch and go, but Bismarck Century and Bryn Jolifson was having none of that, as Gores is going to get taken down for Bismarck Century. Again, Bryn Jolifson saw Gores the entire way. Bird was taken down for a 5-yard loss, and that's how we'll end this first half of play. But the team clad in white on homecoming night, the visitors right now lead it 7-0. Coming up on our halftime show, your out-of-town scoreboard. We'll also take a look at the first half numbers and recap the opening 24 minutes play. Been a barn burner tonight here from the MDU Resources Community Bowl, where Fargo Shanley leads it 7-0 over Bismarck Century here on your live event.
Let the team at Taxman help prepare your taxes and answer any of your tax-related questions. From financial planning, payroll services, and retirement planning, Taxman focuses on your unique tax, accounting, and consulting needs. For expert, affordable service from accountants that care about you with a combined 200 years of experience, choose Taxman. Open year-round with offices in Fargo and Moorhead. For more information, go online to fmtaxman.com.
Let's get real. You're ready for a place that's big enough to grow and small enough to care. So get ready for the University of Minnesota Crookston. With more than 30 majors, minors, and certificates, you'll earn a University of Minnesota degree in a close-knit community where faculty become friends and friends feel like family. And to get a degree that can make a difference, you don't need a big city, just big dreams. The University of Minnesota Crookston. Real, hands-on, ready.
For all your flooring needs, look no further than Carlson Customs Incorporated. From tile, Cortex, and laminate flooring, waterproof floors, shower tiles, and carpet, you are sure to find what you need to update or create the perfect feel in your home or business. Locally owned and operated, Carlson Customs Incorporated. Call Todd at 218-531-0176.
The Ada EDA is committed to improving the quality of life for Ada residents by providing assistance to new and small businesses, developing and assisting with affordable housing to provide economic growth in our community, and including building incentives with affordable lots in great locations with amenities, and also city property tax abatement and free city utilities. For information, contact City of Ada 784-5522 or visit the City of Ada website adamn.gov.
Schedules can be a slippery slope. With yourliveevent.com, that's just not the case. Find schedules for select Minnesota and North Dakota high school athletics at our website. That's www.yourliveevent.com. For schedule updates, follow our social media pages. Never miss again when it comes to scheduling with Your Live Event.
As we're back here from the MDU Resources Community Bowl, let's recap what happened in the opening 24 minutes of play. Fargo, Shanley, and Bismarck Century. Opening 12 minutes was a scoreless game. Fargo, Shanley with a turnover on downs to start deep in the zone of Bismarck Century. A missed field goal from 41 yards from Jager. And then Bennett Bird had an interception on the ensuing possession, 84 yards down the field. A big play. Bennett Bird hit Soka Porter for the big 58-yard completion. couple plays later, 2 yards in, Aiden Devine rushes that touchdown in for the only score of the night. Then Fargo Shanley just took it to the half on their last possession. For Bismarck Century, turnover and downs to start. They were at their own 28-yard line, got stoned at the 28. On the next possession, they had to punt after a 3-and-out. Another turnover on downs on Bismarck Century. This, though, for the Patriots, went into Deacon territory, and then another big play for Fargo Shanley as well, and another turnover and downs from the Patriots. The Patriots are down to the 3-yard line after a Boyle tackle for loss on Orange. Brady Dahl rolled to the near sideline, and Isaac Emnith was able to bat the ball away at the goal line. And tell you what, the story of the game and the story of the season for Fargo Shanley has been what their offense has been able to do as they put up more points than what you see on a lighted Christmas tree at times, as they're able to get 27 points per game, but 34 points against Davies. They racked up 29 against West Fargo Cheyenne, 33 last weekend against Jamestown. But it's been their defense so far that's been the story of this opening 24 minutes. Again, the only score, Devine, the 2-yard rushing touchdown. Jager with the point after attempt with 8:06 left to play in the first half. Bismarck Century will start with the football in the second half. We got about 10 minutes left before we get to the kickoff here of the second half. We'll take a quick timeout, take a look at the first half numbers and your out-of-town scoreboard. That's all to come here on your live event from Bismarck.
For all your flooring needs, look no further than Carlson Customs Incorporated. From tile, Cortex, and laminate flooring, waterproof floors, shower tiles, and carpet, you are sure to find what you need to update or create the perfect feel in your home or business. Locally owned and operated, Carlson Customs Incorporated. Call Todd at 218-531-0176.
The Fargo Jet Center is a full-service general aviation company based at Fargo's Hector International Airport. Book a discovery flight. Enjoy a first-hand flying experience while overlooking the beautiful sights over the Fargo-Moorhead, West Fargo area. Any age is welcome for this 45-minute flight. From aircraft sales to flight school training, connect with the Fargo Jet Center at 701-235-3600 or go online to fargojet.com. That's fargojet.com.
Every business has its special needs and its own unique set of challenges. That's why we treat your business just like ours, to make sure you are covered right. Hello, this is Shane with Irie Insurance, and our agents have seen it all, and one slip-up can take a small business years to recover from. That's why it's so important for a small business to work with an insurance company that can save them money but also make sure they are protected. If you own a small business, we would like to work for you. Go to IrieInsurance.com to find a local agent near you.
More Engineering has been dedicated to finding sustainable engineering solutions for cities across the region for more than 60 years. They offer a wide range of services including civil engineering, land surveying, and environmental services that advance the region's infrastructure. As a 100% employee-owned company, they're committed to providing quality projects and building relationships in the communities they serve. Visit moreengineeringinc.com to learn more. More Engineering, improving lives by building strong communities.
What do basketball, choir, drama club, and marching band all have in common? They're all high school activities that offer learning opportunities not necessarily found in the classroom. They take up just a fraction of a typical North Dakota high school's budget, and they go a long way to giving young people the tools they need to thrive. High school activities, they're more than extracurricular. They're extra important, too. This message presented by the North Dakota High School Activities Association and the North Dakota Interscholastic Athletic Administrators Association.
Here at the half, it's number 1, Bismarck Century trailing the third-seeded Deacons, the third-ranked Deacons, 7-0 here at the half. We'll get to our out-of-town scoreboard, but first, look at the first half numbers. For Fargo Shanley, 47 yards on the ground on 17 attempts for an average of 2.7 yards per pop. Bird right now through the air for 137 yards passing, 184 total yards right now for the Deacons. Fargo Shanley currently, again, with 2 penalties for 15 yards and 1 turnover. For Bismarck Century, team numbers look like this: 76 yards on the ground on 18 attempts for an average of 4.2 yards, 36 yards passing here for Bismarck Century. 6 penalties for 45 yards, no turnovers for the Pats. Individual numbers, Bennett Bird is 12 of 18 for 137 yards, no touchdowns and 1 interception so far in this one for Bennett Bird. Aiden Devine, 12 carries for 53 yards and a rushing touchdown. Bird, 5 carries for 5 yards. Then Gores, 2 carries for -11. Leading receiver for Fargo, Shanley Ahsoka Porter in terms of yards, 2 receptions for 64 yards. Gores has 5 for 41. Devine, 3 for 16. And then Kraft has 2 receptions so far for 16 yards as well for Fargo Shanley. For Bismarck Century, leading rusher is the quarterback in Brady Dahl, 10 carries for 50 yards. You have Peyton Arndt, 8 carries for 20 yards on the night. Dahl through the air, 3 of 5 for 36 yards. Anderson with the reception for 19. Schmidt 1 for 12. And Arndt 1 reception for 5 yards here for Bismarck Century. Final for you across the state of North Dakota in 11A. Watford City at Grand Forks. Red River wins it 24-13. A final in that contest for the Rough Riders. At the half, Mandan and Davies are tied at 14 apiece in 11 AA football. Again, that game is tied at 14 between Davies and Mandan. A lot of games starting at 7 o'clock tonight after one quarter play. West Fargo, Cheyenne 8. Minot scoreless in that contest. Langdon, Area, Enmore, Munich after one quarter play. In 11B leads Hillsborough Central Valley 7-0 in that particular game. And Grafton right now at Harvey Wells County. Harvey Wells County leads 12-8 over Grafton with 4:59 left to play in the first quarter. Once we get to the conclusion of this game, we'll recap what happened in some other scores as well, but that's a look early on at the scores across the Red River Valley and the state of North Dakota as well. A fun Friday night as every class of football, all 4 classes, had top 5 ranked games. Here tonight, number 1 Century and number 3 Shanley. 11A features number 3 North at number 4 Devil's Lake. 11B had number 2 Langdon at number 3 Hillsborough Central Valley. And 9B had number 3 Cavalier at 4th ranked Mayport CG. So a very fun night across the state of North Dakota. At the half again, it's Fargo Shanley 7, Bismarck Century scoreless. Our second half is coming up next here on your live event.
Going to NESCS, I found out way more than just like sports. I met a lot of people just on my floor, and then different activities you could go to that were on campus. For sure, I'll look back at all the memories and love it. My name is Grace, and I'm here for my future.
First week of college, I can't tell you how many friends I've made. It's a family, you know what I mean? Like every time I go to a meeting, like everyone knows my name. They're always kind to me. I love it. I can't explain how much I love it here. My name is Junior, and I'm here for my future.
If you're in need of Minnesota and/or North Dakota high school athletics coverage, head to yourliveevent.com so you don't miss out on moments like these.
Straight up the middle, bounces, he's open, he's down the field, touchdown, Nuggets!
Go to our YouTube page at Your Live Event, powered by Halstead Telephone Company and R&J Broadcasting Incorporated.
Intercepted!
Follow us on Twitter at Your Live Event 1 and on Facebook at Your Live Event.
If you want help from a firm who has integrity, respect, strives for excellence, and is interested in the benefit of the community, then look no further than Onstead Twitchell Attorneys. Our team of attorneys are dedicated and talented professionals who are committed to improving the lives of their clients and providing custom legal solutions with integrity and excellence. We have offices in West Fargo, Hillsborough, and Castleton, or visit our website at www.onsteadlaw.com.
Since 1981, Park Christian School has been educating the next generation of leaders in the Fargo, Moorhead, and West Fargo area. Park Christian's thoroughly Christian education and commitment to academic excellence has resulted in a confident tradition of student success. Students graduate from Park Christian School strong in their faith and well prepared for the rigors of college, career, and relationships. Call 218-236-0500 to schedule your visit or go online to parkchristianschool.org.
Degelman does put the effort and time into their employees by training them.
It's something that you think you couldn't do, but you can actually do it because you were trained to do it.
Once I got my confidence up, now I just feel pride.
I'm very proud to be leading the team that builds the toughest product in the manufacturing and agricultural industry.
Let the team at Taxman help prepare your taxes and answer any of your tax-related questions. From financial planning, payroll services, and retirement planning, Taxman focuses on your unique tax, accounting, and consulting needs. For expert, affordable service from accountants that care about you with a combined 200 years of experience, choose Taxman. Open year-round with offices in Fargo and Moorhead. For more information, go online to fmtaxman.com.
As we come back here just a couple minutes before we get to the third quarter, some more extracurriculars with homecoming. As you always do, the homecoming court is announced right now. One of the football players, they called him the Duke here, is Lucas Schweigert again, with offers to both University of North Dakota and North Dakota State. He wears number 77, a two-way player here for Bismarck Century, part of the homecoming court. A great pep band here for Bismarck Century that has played throughout the game. They had even the dance team out here, and then they had the dads of the dance team doing some dances, and now they're honoring the homecoming court. So a couple more minutes before we get to the second half kickoff, looking closer to about a 7:40-ish kick here to the second half. But a game that got started about 6:36 here tonight between Fargo, Shanley, and Bismarck Century. Reminder, for more information on games throughout the Red River Valley in North Dakota and Minnesota, go to yourliveevent.com, and you can check out some of our high school football games that we have after the conclusion of this one. Oaks and Lisbon going on right now in Lisbon on your live event. Langdon area, Edmore, Munich, and Hillsborough Central Valley as well. Staples, Motley, and Hawley, and Ada Borup West and Polk County going on in Minnesota football. Then you can check out a lot of volleyball throughout the rest of the month of October. Games on Tuesday, Thursday, and Friday back at it again as we take a look ahead. Next week, a lot more 11B and 9B games that we have on our calendar. Linton HMB and Central Cass, the Squirrels, very good in 11B this year. Cavalier going up against Findlay, Sharon Hope Page after angling with Mayport CG here later tonight. So make sure, again, go to your live event to check out the complete rundown of what we have for October and as we get closer to the playoffs in football and with high school volleyball as well. Reggie Funk manning the camera. Chase Miller with you here. Perfect night as you just kind of take a look at what we've been seeing here on this evening. Kickoff in the high 60s. Really nice contingent of Bismarck Century fans coming out. You got the kids playing on in the hill in the background. Bismarck Event Center, a place that had the state track and field meet as well. If you haven't been to the state track and field meet, anytime you talk to someone that has been here, even if it's one time, they say you should definitely go because you get it's one of those events where you get the entire state, Class A, Class B, boys, girls together, and you just have a lot of people watching some really good track and field athletes perform, but it kind of feels like a big state reunion at particular times. You talk to people about the Dakota Bowl, about the Class B basketball tournament as well, but there is something special coming out to the bowl for track and field in the latter part of May into June. Kind of depends on what that calendar looks like on a particular year. Fargo Shanley, again, leading the way as Aiden Devine, 12 carries for 53 yards and a touchdown. Bennett Bird has 12 of 18 through the air for 137 yards. Then Soka Porter, 2 receptions for 64 yards. For Bismarck Century, they're led by the quarterback Dahl on the ground, 10 carries for 50 yards. Then 3 of 5 for 36 yards passing. Leading receiver is Anderson for 19 yards right now for Bismarck Century. After tonight for the Patriots, their next contest will be a West Region affair against rival the Bismarck Demons at 7 o'clock right here from the bowl. And then they go to West Fargo Cheyenne, which right now, going into tonight, Cheyenne and Century were neck and neck in the QRF standings. That'll be at Cheyenne on the 15th, and they will host Minot High the Magi to close out the regular season on the 21st for Century. For Fargo Shanley up next after tonight at Grand Forks Central at Cushman Field. Home to Grand Forks Red River back at Sid Cichy Stadium on October the 15th. Then home to West Fargo on the 21st of October for the Deacons. Postseason later this month on October the 29th, we'll get things underway in the quarterfinals. How it works out again for postseason play, 3 teams from the East. Right now that is Cheyenne, Shanley, and West Fargo, as Davies lost to Shanley and West Fargo. So the head-to-heads will not go for Davies. And then you have West Fargo, Cheyenne as well. They will get into the playoffs with a 2-0 record. So Cheyenne, West Fargo, and Shanley are in. In the West, it's the top 5 teams out of the West. So right now it would look like if today started, Williston would be the odd man out in that particular contest. And then you go from QRF to determine the seeds. And entering tonight, you had Cheyenne 2, number 3 was Shanley, and number 4 was West Fargo. So 3 of the top 4 seeds entering tonight were from the East, and this would go a long way for Fargo Shanley potentially to maybe sneak in as a number 2. What the Deacons would love is to find a way to wrap this game up, win this game, and then have Bismarck Century lose to West Fargo Cheyenne. Shanley run the table, and then the Deacons could maybe even sneak in as a potential 2 seed. But a lot to talk about before then, as we have 24 minutes of football as the Deacons put this one on the tee as we're getting set to start this second half. Gabe Noah will kick it off at the 40-yard line, and Fargo Shanley has started this second half here with a line drive kick that rolls to about the 15-yard line. Bismarck Century gets the 30 to about the 32 on the return for the Patriots. That'll be Barth on the return, a 6'1" at 185 junior, and Bismarck Century will start this second half at their own 32-yard line. Patriots with 3 turnover on downs and a punt so far on the offensive side. And we'll see where they kind of go here, as they had some success in that shotgun formation. And they're going to stay in the gun. Ren's the motion man. Stretch handoff goes to him, gets past the 35 and taken down to about the 36-yard line for a 4-yard gain by Jacob Renz. So Renz, for the first time tonight, able to get that particular rush. We've seen them kind of fake it a couple times with Dahl again. Brady Dahl at quarterback. The guys up front, left tackle of Joel Edlin. Jackson Walls at left guard. Katie, the center. Schweigert at right guard, and Jacob Burkhardt at right tackle. 2nd down and 6 upcoming here. Play action. Dahl has some time to throw, looking for the deep post pattern down the field. That's complete at the 20 to the 15 to the 10 and down at the 5-yard line. The Patriots, with their biggest play of the game, goes to Sorensen, as Bismarck Century just hit a big one down the field to the 5. As that one is able to go for 56 yards, and Sorensen with a big catch on his first catch of the night, as that one was able to go deep down the field. And for Bismarck Century right now, they are knocking on the door with a 1st and goal at the 5. Dahl, QB keeper. Dahl looking past a man. He looks for the end zone. They're going to mark him down at the 1. Isaac Emnith in on the tackle. Dahl able to get 4 yards, and 3rd play from scrimmage for Bismarck Century in the second half. They were looking to get in. We've seen the post pattern work for Fargo Shanley. We saw it work there for Bismarck Century. You get back behind the farthest and the deepest man, particularly a safety, you might get in the end zone. Shanley able to make the tackle. Now they're trying to get another stand here at the goal line. Dahl under center. We'll see if he has a QB keeper. Looks to the right-hand side. Dahl trying to push the pile forward, and no signal yet, and a late signal. He's in. Dahl with a 1-yard QB keeper gets Bismarck Century on the board with 10:05 left to play in the 3rd quarter. Bismarck Century now down by 1. Dahl 12 carries for 55 yards and a rushing touchdown. Point after attempt upcoming here with Osmond, as Osmond will come on for Bismarck Century, trying to tie this one up. Here's the snap, the hold, the right-footed kick by Osman. That one is good. A new score with 10:05 left to play in the third quarter. Bismarck Century has tied this one up at 7 here on your live event.
Let's get real. You're ready for a place that's big enough to grow and small enough to care. So get ready for the University of Minnesota Crookston. With more than 30 majors, minors, and certificates, you'll earn a University of Minnesota degree in a close-knit community where faculty become friends and friends feel like family. And to get a degree that can make a difference, you don't need a big city, just big dreams. The University of Minnesota Crookston. Real, hands-on, ready.
That drive didn't take too long for Bismarck Century. Dahl with the 1-yard rushing touchdown. Then Osman able to get the PAT, and now it's a 7-7 contest as that one for Bismarck Century. A minute and 50 seconds come off the clock as they go 68 yards for the touchdown as Dahl caps it off here for the Patriots. Fargo Shanley will now get the ball to start the second half of play for the first time tonight. And Osman will come on and do the kickoff duties. He's already had one from this spot that went into the end zone for the touchback. Gores and Devine back here for Fargo Shanley as Osman ready to put the right-footed boot into this one. Here's the right-footed end-over-end kick, and this one going to go back into the end zone again, and we'll have another touchback here on the Osman kick. Fargo Shanley will start the third quarter at their own 20-yard line, and we'll see if the Deacons can answer. And right now the chess match continues here. Fargo Shanley, what we saw in the first half, a lot of quick passes, screens, and everything that went onto that point of play for the Deacons. We'll see how Bismarck Century, where they have everyone from about 10 yards from the line of scrimmage here. This one going to be a quick pitch to Gores, and Gores trying to get past the man. Gores gets close and gets knocked out of bounds at about the 23-yard line. In on the coverage there is Bryn Jollifson again. Him and Gores have had a pretty good battle throughout the night. 2nd down and 7 upcoming. Gores now with 6 receptions for 44 yards as Bird will be in the backfield by himself. 2nd and 7. Motion man is Gores. This one they fake to Gores. They come back. This one going to the outside past the 20-yard line and right to about the 22. Emineth in on the reception, and that might be actually a loss of a yard. It is. Loss of 1 yard here. Emineth with his first reception of the night, and the Deacons will face a 3rd down and 8. Bennett Bird with trips to the near sideline. We'll see if Century blitzes. They bring 4. Devine to the 25. Devine spins to the 30, has the first down. He's cracked down at the 35-yard line. You give Devine a lane, and he'll take it and some. Trahan in on the coverage alongside with Jacob Bosley on the tackle, but not before Devine able to get a sweet 13 yards for the Deacons. 4 receptions for 29 yards here for Devine. 152 yards passing now for Bird. Twins left and right. This one pitched out to the near sideline. That's going to be with Kraft, and Bryn Jollifson comes in on the tackle right to the 35-yard line, and excuse me, that is Soka Porter in on the reception, wearing number 3. Kraft wears number 5. So Soka Porter now with 3 receptions for 64 yards. You just wonder again, when do you give that pump fake and hit it deep down the field with all these quick passes for the Deacons? Quick little hitch that's going to Kraft. Kraft able to get that past the 40 to the 41, 6 yards on the completion. And one thing the Deacons have done well tonight is what you're seeing right now, which is just 3rd down and manageable, 3rd and short, execute when you need to. Don't put the quarterback Bird in a 3rd and 10, a 3rd and 15 too often here this evening. 8 minutes left to play in the third quarter. Bird back in the shotgun formation. Looking for the quick screen. This is to Devine. Devine gets popped at the 40-yard line. It'll be a yard loss here for the Deacons. Schweigert able to disrupt that particular play. And Devine now 5 receptions for 28 yards in decision time here for Coach Mather. We'll see if Bird punts and they play field position or if they elect to go for it on 4th and 5. Trying the hard count as they've gotten Century to come off sides not once but twice in this particular game. And Troy Mather, he'll take the timeout here, and we'll break with him with 7:12 left to play in the third quarter. 4th down and 5 for Fargo Shanley, and we'll see if the Deacons elect to go for it or if they'll punt after this here on your live event. Fargo Shanley with 2 timeouts remaining here in this half. Bismarck Century with all 3. It's the opening possession here for the Deacons. So far it's gone 40 yards and has amassed about nearly 3 minutes of game time. Bennett Bird coming on here, 4th down and 5. Motion man is Gores in the backfield. Bird with the clap. Bird pitches out. This goes to Devine. Devine tries to get the first down. He's looking for the edge, and I think he's going to be a yard short. Devine was looking for the first down, trying to see if he could see it and maybe stretch late. Devine gets a good 4 yards, but Bismarck Century pursuit able to come up with the stop, and it's a turnover on downs on Fargo Shanley. Devine with 57 yards rushing on the night. Turnover on downs here for the Deacons, and Bismarck Century now has a chance on this drive to take their first lead of the contest. This will start in the Deacon territory at the 44-yard line here for Century with 7:06 left to play in the third. This one going to be Dahl. Dahl, QB keeper. Dahl gets into the secondary past the 30 and taken down at the 27-yard line. 17 yards on the rush for Dahl, and Dahl is playing large here in the second and third quarters. Dahl right now with 72 yards rushing on 13 carries. And you just kind of felt like the momentum that Shanley had in the first half is now going a little bit more on Bismarck Century's side as they had the big pass play, able to get in with a QB keeper with Dahl, and then they make the turnover on downs here now right back at the Deacon 27-yard line. Dahl then going to get wrapped up by Paul, gets out of Paul's grasp, and then Fargo Shanley with the pursuit, able to come up, and Dahl loses 2 yards on the play, but right off the bat for Fargo Shanley, coming in there was Jackson Paul, able to get to Dahl and then slowed him up enough, so Fargo Shanley was able to wrap him up for about a 2-yard loss. Haven't said that with Paul's rushing games so far here tonight in terms of what they've seen. We've had a timeout on the field, an injury timeout here as they look at the Bismarck Century Patriots. We'll let you know who that is when we come back here on your live event.
For all your flooring needs, look no further than Carlson Customs Incorporated. From tile, Cortex, and laminate flooring, waterproof floors, shower tiles, and carpet, you are sure to find what you need to update or create the perfect feel in your home or business. Locally owned and operated, Carlson Customs Incorporated. Call Todd at 218-531-0176.
As we come back here from the MDU Resources Community Bowl, they're looking at the center, Peter Cady, right now, the 6-foot senior at 225 as he comes off the field. The good news is walking off at least under his own pressure with a little bit of help from the athletic training staff. So Bismarck Century right now, they'll have to shuffle up the line a little bit here, and we'll see what they do as they bring in Wadley Lamai, the 6-foot senior, as he will come into the contest, and Bismarck Century will have him line up at the left tackle spot. Here's a snap, clean. Dahl flips it out to Renz. Renz in the flat at the 20, the 15-10. Renz gets taken out of bounds at the 9-yard line. That'll be 20 yards on the reception here for Renz. Dahl through the air with 85 yards in this second half alone. Renz with his first reception of the night for 20 yards, and just like that, Bismarck Century has a chance to put another one in the red zone or in the end zone here in this third quarter. So Bismarck Century, they'll come out and playing center right now for the Patriots. That's going to be Jaden Braun as they move Braun to the center spot. Dahl gets the edge at the numbers at the 5, cuts back in, and Dahl into the end zone. Touchdown, Patriots. Brady Dahl from 9 yards out for the first time tonight. Bismarck Century takes the lead with 6 minutes left to play in the third quarter. 15 carries for 79 yards and a touchdown. Bismarck Century now leads it 13-7. And Osmond comes on for the point after attempt. As Osmond comes on, and the holder is Duncan Tufty here for Bismarck Century. Right-footed kick on the way by Osmond. Clean snap. Deacons get there. It's a line drive kick, which is good. Fargo Shanley almost able to get the block. But with 6 minutes left to play in the third quarter, we have a new score. It's Bismarck Century 14, Fargo Shanley 7 here on your live event.
The Ada EDA is committed to improving the quality of life for Ada residents by providing assistance to new and small businesses, developing and assisting with affordable housing to provide economic growth in our community, and including building incentives with affordable lots in great locations with amenities, and also city property tax abatement and free city utilities. For information, contact City of Ada 784-5522 or visit the City of Ada website adamn.gov.
Back here at the Community Bowl, Bismarck Century has now grabbed a 14-7 lead in the third quarter. In the opening 6 minutes, we'll get to some out-of-town scores here in a moment. Hillsborough Central Valley over Langdon area Enmore Munich at the half, 14-7. Oaks leads Lisbon 14-0. And West Fargo leads Bismarck Legacy after 3 quarters of play. It's the Packers 27, Bismarck Legacy 11. So back-to-back drives for Bismarck Century. Goes the distance. That one via 44 yards and takes a minute 6 off the clock. And Fargo Shanley now will start at their own 20-yard line yet again. Deacons in the first half, a turnover on downs, a missed field goal, interception, touchdown, and then the half. So we'll see what Fargo Shanley for the first time tonight, trailing on the scoreboard. We'll see how they can respond. As this will come out, 2 wide receivers, both split out left and right here for the Deacons with Bird in the shotgun formation. Bird gives this one to Devine. Devine trying to slither his way as he's tackled close to the 21-yard line. So Devine will get 1 yard on the gain, 14 carries for 58 yards. Again, we've seen Bennett Bird with a lot of quick passes. You just wonder, when is that pump fake or when is that little fake on the screen, hit one deep down the field coming here for the Deacons. This one coming out, and this the hook and ladder. This goes to Devine. Devine to the 40, to the 50, and pushed out of bounds into Bismarck Century territory. Oh, what a play. Reaping up, and then they pitch it to Devine as that one was able to go all the way to the 46-yard line. So Devine with 34 yards on the net on that particular play. And Bismarck Century now will come out and they sniff the screenplay to Gores that time. Great coverage by Renz. Makes it 2nd down and 10. But you just know going up against Troy Mathern earlier this week, talking to Ron Wingenbach, he said, when you go up against Troy Mathern when he was at Fargo South, when they scored off in the playoffs, or right now with Fargo Shanley, you got to be ready for everything. Century's going to blitz. Bird goes down the middle, incomplete. You had Solka Porter and Gores there. and Bird was looking for one or the other. Unfortunate to get there. We haven't seen Century blitz too much tonight. If they were able to get either Soka, Porter, or Gores, that had the first and possibly even more. Instead, it brings up a 3rd down and 10 with 5:18 left to play here in the third quarter. Trips to left, one in the near sideline. Bird looking down the field. It's picked off by Bismarck Century. The Patriots just read it perfectly. Manseth gets the second interception of the night off of Bird, and the Patriots right now are looking for the knockout punch here in the third quarter. Just kind of read the quick slant, the hitch that we've seen from the Deacons have a lot tonight. The linebackers getting ready for that. We mentioned the safeties are playing anywhere from 8 to 10 yards off the line of scrimmage, kind of forcing Shanley to hit the big play down the field. And right now what the Deacons need is a turnover on downs, trying to force a punt here with the 3-and-out potentially for Bismarck Century. Dahl rolls right-hand side. Dahl flips it down the field. That looks like Renz at the 15, and Renz is taken down to the 10-yard line. 34 yards to Renz. And Bismarck Century right now is humming, as that one goes deep down the field for 34 yards for Dahl. Renz with his second reception of the night for 54 yards. Renz now with 155 yards passing through the air, and Bismarck Century's trying to take advantage of this third quarter. Dahl, QB keeper Dahl, gets past the 5 on a 1st down and goal. And that gets to the 4-yard line. 6 yards on the rush. Emnith on the tackle. Dahl now 16 carries for 83 yards. Bismarck Century will handle it 2nd down and goal with 4:20 left to play in the third quarter. Very reminiscent to Bismarck St. Mary's a couple weeks ago, where St. Mary's outscored Shanley 21-0 in the third quarter in the opening 9 minutes, and that's what Century's trying to do here in this particular contest. Dahl goes up the middle. Jackson Paul in on the tackle as Dahl's able to get 1 yard, 3rd and goal from the 2 upcoming. But in that game, Century down the field, 3 minutes. Deacons fumbled the football on the ensuing kickoff. St. Mary's scored, and then after Fargo Shanley was unable to do anything offensively, St. Mary's scored again, and it was a shutout for the rest of the game for both teams. But that was the difference when the Deacons were up 21-7 against St. Mary's at the half. They lost 28-21. This one kind of feels like the same way a little bit. Big play from Century to start the third quarter, and they're just continuing to go with that with the interception. Dahl to the edge. Dahl looks inside the end zone. Touchdown from 2 yards out. Dahl with his 3rd rushing touchdown of the night. 18 carries for 86 yards and 3 rushing scores. And Bismarck Century leads by a new score. It's 20-7 Patriots. Extra point attempt upcoming, and Fargo Shanley, they're going to be looking for a play that goes well on their side here. Still enough time with 3:23 left to play in the third, but they're going to need something on this drive to try to take a little bit of the right hook that Century has thrown at them here in the third quarter. Point after attempt by Osman is good. Dahl with a 1 yard rushing touchdown, a 1 yard rushing touchdown, and a 2 yard rushing touchdown. Osman 3 for 3 on the point after attempts. It's Bismarck Century 21, Fargo Shanley 7 here in the third quarter on your live event.
Schedules can be a slippery slope. With yourliveevent.com, that's just not the case. Find schedules for select Minnesota and North Dakota high school athletics at our website. That's www.yourliveevent.com. For schedule updates, follow our social media pages. Never miss again when it comes to scheduling with your live event.
Hey fans, More Engineering, they work side by side with clients to find sustainable solutions to challenges they face, whether it's building a water tower, road, airport, or parking lot to be part of the community, or be part of a roading career or a community that you have a list of requests, go online to moreengineeringinc.com. That's moreengineeringinc.com for more information. One of our title sponsors here on this Friday, October the 1st in Bismarck. If you're just joining us, the opening half, Fargo Shanley able to keep Bismarck Century in check, where they only allowed Bismarck Century 112 yards of total offense and 0 points. Shanley led 7-0 via an Aiden Devine 2-yard rushing touchdown, but in the third quarter, it's been all blue, red, and white, the Patriots' colors here in the third, as they've had 3 possessions with 3 touchdowns. After the opening half, they had 4 possessions with 3 of them on turnover on downs and a punt. So now for Fargo Shanley, turnover on downs and interception. They'll have their third possession of the third back at their own 20-yard line. Kind of sounds like a broken record with Osman with that nice right-footed kick. And we'll see what the Deacons can muster here. Pitch play goes to Devine. Devine gets the 25-yard line. Devine with a healthy 5 yards. Bryn Jolison there as he's able to come up, and Fargo Shanley has an injured player at the 23-yard line as Devine gets 5 yards on the play. 15 carries now for 63 yards, and Fargo Shanley has an injured Deacon down at the 23-yard line. We'll take a quick timeout as well as they attend to the injured player. 3:10 left to play in the third. Bismarck Century 21, Fargo Shanley 7 here on your live event.
For all your flooring needs, look no further than Carlson Customs Incorporated. From tile, Cortex, and laminate flooring, waterproof floors, shower tiles, and carpet, you are sure to find what you need to update or create the perfect feel in your home or business. Locally owned and operated, Carlson Customs Incorporated. Call Todd at 218-531-0176.
The Fargo Jet Center is a full-service general aviation company based at Fargo's Hector International Airport. Book a Discovery flight to enjoy a first-hand flying experience while overlooking the beautiful sights over the Fargo-Moorhead, West Fargo area. Any age is welcome for this 45-minute flight. From aircraft sales to flight school training, connect with the Fargo Jet Center at 701-235-3600 or go online to fargojet.com. That's fargojet.com.
John Bretherton is the injured Deacon. He comes off the field and gets looked at the near sideline here. Bird in the gun. That one gets tipped and intercepted at the 33-yard line by Trayton Hinderer here for Bismarck Century. It's the third interception of the game, and Bismarck Century now will have it 1st and 10 at the Deacon 33-yard line. Tough one. You fake the pitch. You try to go across the middle, and all you get done as a defensive lineman is get your mitt up and get your hands up and try to bat the ball down or get deflection. That's what happens, and Bismarck Century has had the ball at the Deacon 44 twice, their own 32, and now they're right back at the Deacon 33-yard line here in the third quarter. This will start at the 2:55 mark in the third for Bismarck Century in the gun. Dahl rolls right-hand side. Dahl winds up, fires, throws, has Renz, got a basket man, and it's into the end zone for 33 yards and a score. Dahl to Renz on the ensuing play after the interception, and Bismarck Century finds the end zone for the 4th time tonight and leads it 27-7. 34 yards for Dahl, able to get that one in, checked at 33 yards, and Dahl right now has really impressed in this second half of play as he has thrown 4 for 4 in this second half, and he's got 4 touchdowns, 3 on the ground, 1 through the air. High snap, Osman with the point after attempt, and it's good. And the third quarter has belonged to Bismarck Century as they now lead it 28-7. We'll keep it here. 2:47 left to play in the third quarter. Bismarck Century has outscored Shanley 28-0 here in the third. Dahl to Renz for that 33-yard touchdown. And in fact, that passing touchdown here for Dahl is the first one of the contest and the first one of the season for Bismarck Century. Century went prior to that 5 full games and 2 full quarters in this game without a passing touchdown on the season, but now that has changed with that one through the air. Dahl right now is 7 of 9 for 188 yards and a touchdown. In the first half, he threw for only 36 yards. In the second half, he's passed for 152 on 4 completions of 65, 20, 34, and 33 yards through the air. And Bismarck Century showing you why again that they've won 27 straight and they haven't lost since the Dakota Bowl in 2018 against Bismarck High. Fargo Shanley right now, just a club that if this was the old boxing term, they got a big right hook, left hook, uppercut, punch, however you want to say it. Bismarck Century's kind of looking for that knockout blow, but with Fargo Shanley, with the players of Gores Devine, with Emineth, with Soka Porter, with the speed that they have, a team that, again, is just one broken tackle away and they can take it the distance as Osmond, yet again, has a one that goes to the end zone and a touchback here. Difference, though, again, in these drives. Bismarck Century 4 possessions for 4 touchdowns, and Fargo Shanley 4 possessions in this third quarter. And it's been 2 interceptions and a turnover on downs. As the Deacons will come out here, Bird, quick flip on the outside, going nowhere. That's me, Gores. Gores, a -1 yard loss on that particular play. And right now, Bismarck Century, they kind of can smell the Deacons' offense a little bit here as they know the quick screen is coming. They understand what their positioning is. And if you're Fargo Shanley, the question is, where do you go and what do you kind of call here with Bird? This would help. Deep play down the field, incomplete. About the 50-yard line, Kraft was the intended receiver for Fargo Shanley. And just like that, before he can blink for the Deacons, it's third down upcoming here for Fargo Shanley. Shanley, this is, you got to have it kind of a down right now. Got to get close to at least go for it on a 4th and 1. Gores, handoff on the jet sweep. Gores gets to the 20-yard line, fumbles the ball. The ball comes out. Century says they have it, and there's no official yet pointing. Century believes they have it, and they do. Gores fumbles the football, recovered by Bismarck Century at the 19, and for the 3rd consecutive drive for Fargo Shanley, it results in a turnover. And the Patriots right now at homecoming night, they can definitely smell this one, as they will have their 5th possession of the third quarter, the 4th into Fargo Shanley territory, and this will be with their best running field position of the day at the Deacons' 19-yard line. 2:11 left to play here in the third, and Bismarck Century right now will come out. This will be a jet sweep to the right-hand side for the Patriots, the 15 to the 10. Getting close to the 5-yard line on the rush, that's Peyton Arndt. The running back they put in the slot position, brought him around on the jet sweep, and that's going to be Arndt, one of his best rushes of the night. He's got the first down. It'll be a 1st and goal at the 8. 11 yards for Arndt. His previous best was a 10-yard rush. 9 carries now for 31 yards for Arndt. Makes it 1st and goal at the 8-yard line. 1 wide receiver split out either side. Arndt's going to dot the I as Dahl goes under center. Deacons with 4 down linemen. Arndt trying to cut back inside, gets to the 5-yard line, and Arndt going to get tackled at the 4. 4 yards on the rush for Peyton. 10 carries now for 35 yards. But the story of this second half has been Brady Dahl. Dahl 18 carries, 86 yards. 3 rushing touchdowns so far for Dahl, and then he's got a passing touchdown as well. And for Bismarck Century, a chance to get their 5th touchdown of what feels like a very long third quarter here in Bismarck. Dahl, clean snap, slithers his way to the right-hand side, and there's the 5th touchdown of the game for Brady Dahl. It's now 34-7 on a 4-yard rushing touchdown by the senior quarterback. 19 carries, 90 yards. Dahl with another rushing touchdown to add to his performance on the night, and Bismarck Century leads it 34-7. 56, make that 55 seconds left to play here in the third. Dahl with the 4-yard rushing touchdown, as Osmond will come out for the point after attempt, and that one is booted through the uprights as Osmond now is 5 for 5 on the PATs here tonight. We'll keep it here as Osmond collects another PAT. Fargo Shanley in this third quarter. The old adage, it's tough to win when you have turnovers, but it's also tough to win when the opposition capitalizes on it. Bismarck Century in this game has scored 21 points off of Fargo Shanley turnovers, and in the last 3 possessions as well. They've had it at the Deacon 44, the Deacon 33, and the Deacon 19-yard line to start. So not just the turnover, but it's also the short field. And Bismarck Century, a squad that's won back-to-back state championships, they know what to do with it. 4 state titles, 2020, 2019, both over West Fargo Cheyenne, 2016 over Bismarck, and 2015 over Minot. Bismarck Century, the last decade, they've made 7 of the last 10 Dakota Bowls, with 4 state titles and 3 state runner-ups. So again, in what was formerly AAA and what is now currently 11 AA, Bismarck Century is the class act and what they've been able to do in the last 10 years. If you want to win a title, you got to go through Century. Fargo Shanley will see this one back in the end zone again. And one thing that is for certain is Osmond's going to have a kickoff that goes into the end zone. So back to the 20-yard line for the Deacons with 55 seconds left here in the third. Fargo Shanley, take a look at their history. A well-accomplished program as well, a team that has won at any level that they played at in terms of state titles in their tenure. This one will go to the left-hand side and sneaking his way to about the 5-yard line. A good healthy rush, as that one's able to go for 5 yards here for the Deacons. That's Bird on the rush. Bird with 6 carries now for 10 yards, and Fargo Shanley quickly gets back to the line here. Deacons, we'll get to their history in a moment after this player to start the fourth quarter, as Bird looks to the near sideline, trips to the near side, 1 to the left. Bismarck Century 4 down lineman. Bird looking down the field, goes to Gores. That's going to be incomplete, and it will stop the clock with 19 seconds. Looking for that big play down the field. Fargo Shanley, you take a look, state titles in AA in 2009 and 2010 when Steve Lockway was the head coach before going to MSUM. 2012 as well with Rod Oxendahl, in 2018 with Troy Mathern. Here comes a pitch play. Ball's on the turf, still loose, and Bismarck Century might recover another turnover here at the 28-yard line. If they do, that'll be the 4th consecutive possession in which Bismarck Century has forced a turnover. They're going to stop the clock with 5 seconds left to play here in the third, and it is. It's a fumble on Bismarck for Fargo Shanley. Bismarck Century recovers the fumble, and that might be the dagger here in the third quarter. 4 consecutive possessions here that result in a turnover. 2 interceptions and 2 fumbles here on Fargo Shanley. That's their 5th of the contest, and Bismarck Century will start with it at the 28-yard line in Deacon territory. Michael Rotsberg again injured in the third quarter against Jamestown. Bennett Bird, the backup quarterback, and it's not been because of Bennett Bird. It's just been because a little bit of the inconsistency here in the third, and Fargo Shanley, again, just a big hit, just unable to capitalize, and then you put your defense in a very precarious situation. And with a guy like this, and Brady Dahl continues to run hard, bouncing off tackles and getting close to a first down, they'll mark him at the 20-yard line, and that'll be the end of this particular third quarter. So 9 yards on the rush for Brady Dahl. 16 make that. Brady Dahl on the night has 20 carries now for 99 yards, and that'll do it for the third quarter play. We go to the fourth. Bismarck Century up by 28 over the Deacons here on your live event.
Every business has its special needs and its own unique set of challenges. That's why we treat your business just like ours, to make sure you are covered right. Hello, this is Shane with Irie Insurance, and our agents have seen it all, and one slip-up can take a small business years to recover from. That's why it's so important for a small business to work with an insurance company that can save them money but also make sure they are protected. If you own a small business, we would like to work for you. Go to IrieInsurance.com to find a local agent near you.
More Engineering has been dedicated to finding sustainable engineering solutions for cities across the region for more than 60 years. They offer a wide range of services including civil engineering, land surveying, and environmental services that advance the region's infrastructure. As a 100% employee-owned company, they're committed to providing quality projects and building relationships in the communities they serve. Visit moreengineeringinc.com to learn more. More Engineering, improving lives by building strong communities.
As we come back here, Pajamula gets a 19-yard rushing touchdown for the score, but it looks like we're going to have a holding play on Bismarck Century. This will be from the spot of the foul at the 10-yard line, so mark it back there, but Pajamula had a 19-yard rushing touchdown taken off the board. Bismarck Century, after having 6 penalties for 45 yards in the first half, this will be their first of the second half. It does take points off the board, but Bismarck Century with an opportunity here to continue to get up on the scoreboard. Mercy rule again in this particular contest in high school football is 30 or more. If Bismarck Century does put one up on the score board, we'll have the clock continue to wind for the remainder of this game, whether it's an incompletion or not. For example, on a pass play. I formation, Dahl under center, Pajamula with the handoff. Pajamula bounces near sideline, and Pajamula gets pushed out of bounds close to the 12-yard line. We'll see where they mark it, and they'll mark it at the 13. So after the rush of 6 yards here for Pajamula, 6 yards on the rush makes it a first down, though, as, again, the holding was on the spot of the foul. So first down upcoming here for the Deacons, for the Patriots at the Deacons' 13-yard line. 11:40 left to play in the fourth quarter as Pajamula was pushed out of bounds. 2 wide receivers left. Dahl continues to be under center. Pajamula dots the I. And almost a fumble on the snap. Pajamula, though, bounces past the left-hand side to the 6-yard line. 7 yards on the rush. 2 carries now for 13 yards as Bismarck Century trying to get to their 28th consecutive win before they play their rival in Bismarck High next week. Bismarck Century's been tested this season. Some close games that we've seen, in particular the last 2 weeks. At Dickinson, a 3-point win, and then going to Mandan just across the river, a 7-point win last week. In the opening 24 minutes, looked like we were going to be back in for another barn burner here as Pajamula gets taken down by Leininger at the 5-yard line. Bismarck Century, they need make it the 2-yard line for the first. So Pajamula able to get a yard, and that's it. 3 carries for 14 yards. But Bismarck Century, whatever Coach Ron Wingenbach's in the locker room, they kind of came out and took a big shot down the field. They were able to hit it with Sorensen for 65 yards. And then 2 plays later, Dahl gets in the end zone, and it's been all Century since that point. 1 wide receiver, either side, Dahl again under center. Handoff, Pajamula following his blockers into the end zone. Touchdown, Patriots, 5 yards out. Pajamula now with 19 yards on the ground. And Bismarck Century gets their 5th rushing touchdown of the night as they lead at 41-7. As Osmond will come on here, and now we are officially into running time here from the Community Resources Bowl, MDU. That score with 10:01 left to play in the fourth quarter. As Osmond will come on here, Pajamula with the rushing touchdown. That again, a 5-yard variety. And we'll see if Osmond can continue to be perfect from the point after attempt. And he is. New score, Bismarck Century 42, Fargo Shanley 7 with 9:36 left to play in the fourth here on your live event.
What do basketball, choir, drama club, and marching band all have in common? They're all high school activities that offer learning opportunities not necessarily found in the classroom. They take up just a fraction of a typical North Dakota high school's budget, and they go a long way to giving young people the tools they need to thrive. High school activities, they're more than extracurricular. They're extra important, too. This message presented by the North Dakota High School Activities Association and the North Dakota Interscholastic Athletic Administrators Association.
Chase Miller with you alongside Reggie Funk here on your live event. Opening 24 minutes, Fargo Shanley couldn't have played it any better. I mean, realistically, in terms of what they were able to do, backup quarterback into the game, 112 yards that they held Bismarck Century, 3 turnover on downs, a couple in the red zone as well. But in the second half, the turnover bug has bitten Fargo Shanley, and Bismarck Century has been the recipient. Bismarck Century in the second half, 6 possessions, 6 touchdowns. And they've been able to do it with 5 rushing scores, a passing touchdown to Renz from Dahl. And Fargo Shanley on the opposite side, they've had 5 possessions so far in this second half. A couple of interceptions, a couple of fumbles, and that's why we have this score at 42-7 with 9:36 left to play here in regulation. This one will just slowly wind down to Devine at the 12-yard line. Devine gets to 15, makes the first 2 guys miss, and then sprawls his way to about the 20 and gets down to the 21-yard line here for the Deacons. So right now, if you're the Deacons, your first possession of this first quarter, just looking for some positives as you get ready to go to Grand Forks Central a week from tonight. As Bird continues to be at quarterback here for Fargo Shanley. Shanley 0 points in the first quarter, 7 in the second, 0 in the third. Century scoreless in the first, 35 points in the third. And one thing coming into this game, we thought, hey, Bismarck Century, they've outscored their opposition 75-0 after 1 quarter of play. You thought the opening 12 minutes might go a long way, and it did for the first half, that Shanley was able to outscore them. But here's what Bismarck Century has done for the last handful of years and this year's. Soka Porter gets met right at the line for his 4th reception now for 64 yards. And the one thing that Century has done for a number of years against teams in the West, and particularly in the Dakota Bowl, they get up by 2 scores, and then that kind of offense, as this one is forced and it's intercepted, and Bismarck Century will have a pick 6. The Patriots take one 18 yards to the pick 6. That one going to be Drew Noland in for the pick 6 touchdown, and Century has put this game away at 48-7. That's a tough one there for Bennett Bird and Fargo Shanley, as that one went in. And excuse me, Brandon Hendricks is the one for that interception. So Brandon Hendricks able to get that pick there for 17 yards. Point after attempt is good by Osmond, and Bismarck Century leads it 49-7. So the Patriots continue to look at the clock. It'll be a happy homecoming here for Bismarck Century, as that one is going to be picked off by Hendricks for the touchdown, and Osmond gets the PAT after the 17-yard TD interception. Osmond again perfect on the point after attempt, and for Fargo Shanley, the question is more of a little bit of what if once you get to this one. Again, the opening 24 minutes, you couldn't have scripted any better if you're Fargo Shanley. In terms of what you were able to do defensively, Bird was really good in the first half, 12 of 18 for 137 yards, 0 touchdowns and interception. Century, though, started making some adjustments in the third quarter, and for Fargo Shanley, you'll say some things were definitely forced in the fourth quarter, particularly once they got down by 3-4 scores. But the Deacons with this result will drop to 3-3 on the season, but still very much alive in terms of what they can do and what they've kind of put on film here in this game for Bismarck Century as this one rolls back into the end zone. Bismarck Century's hoping that this might be the catalyst kind of a game that takes them to the Century level that they've been the last couple seasons here as Bird comes back out for Fargo Shanley as the Deacons will start like a broken record for the 6th time here in the second half at their own 20-yard line. Officials tonight, Dennis Reap, the referee, umpire of Corey Peterson, line judge of Steve Meyer, Jason Doctor, the head judge, and then Sean Markovic is the back judge here for Bismarck officiating crew tonight. Deacons will come out again, shotgun formation, Bird QB keeper, as Bird is able to muster his way close to a first down. It looks like they'll give him the first for 10 yards on the rush. Bird now 7 carries for 20 yards. As we mentioned, though, Fargo Shanley kind of taking a look at their history. 2009 to 18 in Class AA. That's when AAA was the highest level. 1997 to 08, they were in Class AAA as well. This one goes up the middle and going nowhere is Fargo Shanley for about a 2-yard loss. The rush on that one by the Deacons, that's going to be Jaden Ort, the 5'9 senior. 2 yards on the loss. As Fargo Shanley will come back out with this one. Looking to give it to Ort, and Ort gets back to about the line, maybe a yard. Fargo Shanley kind of been a team that's gone up and down a little bit, as we were mentioning in AA, AAA, and now they're playing at the highest level again the last couple of years. Got knocked out to Bismarck Century in their second year of Class AAA. 2 years ago, went right down to the wire, and Fargo Shanley kind of just a 6-3 year, but couldn't make the playoffs just because of what they had in terms of the actual tiebreaker situations. As Bismarck Century, man coming off the field, that's Jordan Jones, as he will come off here. And so they could have made the playoffs the last 2 years for the Deacons, unable to their first year joining AAA. Last year they make it, lose to Century on this field in October, and then you kind of go to this year playing at the highest level. The Deacons, again, 3-2. This will be their widest loss throughout the season, and it might be their widest loss in quite some time as Bird gets met right at the line and taken down for a loss. Lincoln Parlett in on the tackle, and Bird loses 2 yards on that particular one. 8 carries now for 18 yards, and 4th down upcoming. As we take a look at Fargo Shanley in recent years, we'll kind of take a little more peek on some of their games and kind of where they have been in terms of history in North Dakota football, because we saw for quite some time, particularly in AA, Shanley putting up scores and like this being on the winning side for Bismarck Century. Kind of nothing new here. What they've been able to do is Bird end over end kick and a roll at the 45. Bismarck Century picks it up there at the 40, then tackled at the 35-yard line. Fargo Shanley will have their first punt of the game. This comes late in the 4th quarter with just under 6 minutes to play for Bismarck Century in this second half. This will be the 5th straight possession, make it the 6th straight possession that has started into Deacon territory with 30 at the 36-yard line here for Bismarck Century. Now what they really need to do now is just run the clock out. Taking a look at what happened last year for the Deacons, their worst loss on the year was to Bismarck Century by 21 points in the playoffs, 49-28. Handoff for the Patriots as this goes past the 35 to about the 32-yard line. As Reagan in on the carry here for the Patriots for his first carry for Trevor, a 5'7 senior. That one again goes for 4 yards. Go back to 2019 for Fargo Shanley. Their worst loss in that season was only by 3 points to Davies, West Fargo, and Fargo South. The combined, again, 9 points that they had 3 losses. As this one goes for close to a first down, they look to spot the first on the rush. As that'll go for 7 yards by Reagan again. 2 carries for 11 yards. And then you kind of go back to 2018 for the Deacons. They never lost a game. 2017, their only loss was to St. Mary's by 19 points. Is this one going to be a handoff again past the 20 to about the 19-yard line as Reagan able to get 6 more yards, so already 3 carries for 18 yards. 4:40 left to play here in the fourth quarter. Taking a look in 2016, lost to St. Mary's again by 11. And again, you're going to have to really dig a long time since Fargo Shanley was on the losing side of a score like this, as you just keep kind of rolling on through as handoff goes up the middle here, and the Deacons come up with a good stop right at the 20-yard line. In on the tackle for Fargo Shanley, as even our own cameraman Reggie Funk kind of felt that one. Will Mayhews in on the tackle. Just kind of looked over to my right, and Reggie kind of had the deer in the headlights look, almost a whoa, that was a pretty big tackle. 4 rushes now for Reagan for 16 yards. But you have to go all the way back here for Fargo Shanley in terms of a disparity of a loss like this, going to the 2008, where they lost by 24 to West Fargo, 28 to the Packers as well, as this one is going back nowhere again for a 2-yard loss by Reagan. And then going back to the 2007 season a little bit, where Fargo Shanley lost by 32 points for West Fargo. So again, it's been a while since the Deacons have been on this kind of a route, and the reason why, they've just had a really solid program with some really good coaches over the years. For Bismarck Century, if you take a look at their scores in recent years, this is really nothing new for the Patriots. They've been able to really take advantage, play solid football, run wing and block football, control the line, control the clock, run the football, throw when you only really need to, depending on the dual threat quarterback. Bismarck Century going to fake this field goal here, and Fargo Shanley able to snuff that one out at the 24-yard line. Good job by the Deacons, and continue to play through the whistle. That's going to be Luke Magnato, the 5'11 senior, in on the tackle for Fargo Shanley, as the Deacons will handle it with 2:41 left to play here in regulation. So Bismarck Century will have their 4th turnover on downs of the game. Their first, though, in the second half, as Shanley will start at their own 23-yard line. So Deacons will come out shotgun formation, as this one's going to go and met right at the 21-yard line, and the Deacons unable to get much there with Bird. Bird now 9 carries for 18 yards. Fargo Shanley again at Grand Forks Central a week from tonight for Bismarck Century, playing their rivals in Bismarck High. The Patriots will improve to 6-0 on this season. They'll win their 28th consecutive football game as well. As we'll keep you comprised of what's going on across the state on our out-of-town scoreboard. Once we get to our post-game show, Oaks and Lisbon. Oaks leads by 8 after 3 quarters of play. West Fargo defeats Bismarck Legacy 41-25. That one's a final, as Fargo Shanley gets back to the original line as Ort is on the carry. Hillsborough Central Valley leads Langdon 21-7. If that score holds, the 40-plus game winning streak for Langdon would come to an end. Here's a snap. Bad snap. Bennett Bird with it. Bennett Bird looks to throw down the field. Incomplete at the 25-yard line. Bird did a nice job there, just kind of making something out of nothing in terms of getting that ball back to the line of scrimmage and even finding a wide receiver that was the intended wide receiver there, as Bird has that incompletion. And the clock now at 80 seconds left to play in this one. Fargo Shanley with 7 points in this contest, as we'll have to go back again in the record books here and see the last time the Deacons were held to under double digits in a particular football game. And that one is going to be a while as well. Just taking a look at some of the scores, particularly under Troy Mather, and Fargo Shanley has been able to put up a number of points where 3, 4, 5, 6 touchdowns in a game is not uncommon. Bird, good punt. This one rolls past the 50 to the 47. That'll be the second punt of the night here of this game for Fargo Shanley. And taking a look at the Deacons, the last time they were held to single digits for Fargo Shanley, as we're quickly looking, 14 points in 18, down to 14 points, 11 points in 2017. Last time Fargo Shanley was held to single digits was the season opener against Bismarck St. Mary's in 2016 on August 26th. They lost the Saints 18-7. But since then, you look in 2017, they played 11 games in 18, 9 and 19, 8 last season, and they played 5 so far here. So do the math. For Fargo Shanley, a squad again that's been able to do a lot. Michael Rotzberg, their starting quarterback, got injured against Jamestown. Bennett Bird and Fargo Shanley, a really good game plan here in the first half, where Bird again was 12 of 18 for 137 yards. But in the second half, the Achilles heel in football, or whether it's baseball in terms of wild pitches and walks, hockey, if you give turnover at mid-ice and you see them go on a break, or here in football, it's the same thing. Turnovers are going to bite you, and that's exactly what happened here in this one. A final in Bismarck. On homecoming night, Bismarck Century down 7-0 at the half. They come back to win 49-7. And as a final, as Century now has won 28 consecutive games. They improved to 6-0 on the season. Fargo Shanley drops to 3-3. Our post-game show is next, here from Bismarck on your live event.
Going to NES, I found out way more than just like sports. I met a lot of people just on my floor, and then different activities you could go to that were on campus. For sure, I'll look back at all the memories and love it. My name is Grace, and I'm here for my future.
First week of college, I can't tell you how many friends I've made. It's a family, you know what I mean? Like every time I go to a meeting, like everyone knows my name. They're always kind to me. I love it. I can't explain how much I love it here. My name is Junior, and I'm here for my future.
If you're in need of Minnesota and/or North Dakota high school athletics coverage, head to yourliveevent.com so you don't miss out on moments like these.
Straight up the middle, bounces, he's open, he's down the field, touchdown, Nuggets!
Go to our YouTube page at Your Live Event, powered by Halstead Telephone Company and R&J Broadcasting Incorporated.
Intercepted!
Follow us on Twitter at Your Live Event 1 and on Facebook at Your Live Event.
If you want help from a firm who has integrity, respect, strives for excellence, and is interested in the benefit of the community, then look no further than Onstead Twitchell Attorneys. Our team of attorneys are dedicated and talented professionals who are committed to improving the lives of their clients and providing custom legal solutions with integrity and excellence. We have offices in West Fargo, Hillsborough, and Castleton. Or visit our website at www.onsteadlaw.com.
Since 1981, Park Christian School has been educating the next generation of leaders in the Fargo, Moorhead, and West Fargo area. Park Christian's thoroughly Christian education and commitment to academic excellence has resulted in a confident tradition of student success. Students graduate from Park Christian School strong in their faith and well prepared for the rigors of college, career, and relationships. Call 218-236-0500 to schedule your visit or go online to parkchristianschool.org.
Degelman does put the effort and time into their employees by training them.
It's something that you think you couldn't do, but you can actually do it because you were trained to do it.
Once I got my confidence up, now I just feel pride.
I'm very proud to be leading the team that builds the toughest product in the manufacturing and agricultural industry.
As we come back here on our post-game show, we'll recap the second half, get to a look at the final numbers and also your out-of-town scoreboard, as this game started a little bit earlier than most here in this one. Chase Miller with you alongside with Reggie Funk on your live event. The final again, Bismarck Century wins this one 49-7 over Fargo Shanley, and Century does all the damage in the second half. Fargo Shanley with the opening touchdown of the game, Aiden Devine, a 2-yard score. Then Bismarck Century came out like World War II and blitzkrieged the Deacons in the third quarter with 5 touchdowns in 10 minutes of play. Dahl had a 1-yard rushing touchdown after a big play that went to Sorensen for 65 yards. 2 plays later, a 1-yard rushing touchdown, Osmond with the point after attempt. Then with 6 minutes left to play, Dahl with a 9-yard rushing touchdown, Osmond with the point after attempt. That came after Fargo Shanley had their first interception in the second half. Also, Dahl with a 2-yard rushing touchdown. Osmond with a point after attempt. That came after another Shanley interception. Dahl then found Renz 33 yards after the Deacons fumbled. Dahl found Renz on one play for 33 yards, and the score 28-7 Patriots with 2:47 left in the third. Then Dahl had another rushing touchdown, his third of the contest on the ground, his fourth in the game. Make that his fifth in the game, as Dahl had a 4-yard rushing touchdown, 35-7 Century after 3 quarters of play. Pajamula added a 5-yard rushing touchdown, then a Braden Hendricks 17-yard pick six put the game away for Bismarck Century. Again, the Patriots 49 points, 35 in the third, 14 in the fourth. Fargo Shanley shutout in this particular contest. When we come back, a look at the final numbers that will name you our player of the game. Again, your final, Bismarck Century wins at 49-7 over Shanley here on your live event.
The Ada EDA is committed to improving the quality of life for Ada residents by providing assistance to new and small businesses, developing and assisting with affordable housing to provide economic growth in our community, and including building incentives with affordable lots in great locations with amenities, and also city property tax abatement and free city utilities. For information, contact City of Ada 784-5522 or visit the City of Ada website adamn.gov.
Schedules can be a slippery slope. With yourliveevent.com, that's just not the case. Find schedules for select Minnesota and North Dakota high school athletics at our website. That's www.yourliveevent.com. For schedule updates, follow our social media pages. Never miss again when it comes to scheduling with your live event.
For all your flooring needs, look no further than Carlson Customs Incorporated. From tile, Cortex, and laminate flooring, waterproof floors, shower tiles, and carpet, you are sure to find what you need to update or create the perfect feel in your home or business. Locally owned and operated, Carlson Customs Incorporated. Call Todd at 218-531-0176.
The Fargo Jet Center is a full-service general aviation company based at Fargo's Hector International Airport. Book a discovery flight. Enjoy a first-hand flying experience while overlooking the beautiful sights over the Fargo-Moorhead, West Fargo area. Any age is welcome for this 45-minute flight. From aircraft sales to flight school training, connect with the Fargo Jet Center at 701-235-3600 or go online to fargojet.com. That's fargojet.com.
As we come back here to the MDU Resources Community Bowl to put a bow on homecoming night for the victorious Bismarck Century Patriots. They win it again 49-7, the final in this particular contest. And a little tale of two halves, but also Bismarck Century just erupted in the second 24 minutes of this contest. In the first half, just 112 yards of offense. In the second half, they erupt for 247. And like a Ron Wingenbach team, very balanced. 171 on the ground, 188 through the air for a total of 359 yards of offense. Bismarck Century in this game, 0 turnovers. They did have a number of penalties, 6 in the first half, but just 7 in the game, so 1 in the second. 7 penalties of 55 yards for Bismarck Century. In the first half, again, 3 turnovers on downs, a punt. Then they come out with 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 straight touchdowns on the offensive side for the Patriots. For the Fargo Shanley Deacons, very similar, a tale of two halves. The first half, 184 yards of total offense. In the second half, just 83. They finished with 267 yards of total offense. A number, again, of turnovers. They had 4 interceptions, 2 fumbles, 6 total in the game. Penalties, though, pretty good. 2 for just 15 for head coach Troy Mathern. Here's a look at your individual numbers. Dahl, talk about a tale of two halves as well. Just 36 yards passing in the first half. He would finish with 188 yards through the air with a touchdown. Almost gets the century mark in rushing. 20 carries for 99 yards and 4 scores. Arndt with 10 carries for 35 yards. Pajamula 4 carries for 14. And then Regan also has 5 carries for 14 yards here for Fargo, for Bismarck Century in this contest. And he Pajamula also gets a rushing touchdown. Leading the way, receiving Renz with 2 catches for 84 yards and a score. Sorensen with the big one to start the third quarter play for 65 yards. Anderson 1 for 19, Schmidt 1 for 12, and Arndt 1 for 5. For Fargo Shanley, in this contest, Bennett Bird, 21 of 34, 4 picks with 196 yards. Did well again, the short 5 to 10 yard quick screen games, but Bismarck Century made an adjustment or two in the second half, saw it coming. There was one that was batted at the line that was picked. Bryn Jolison had one, Hendricks with another. The back half of Century played really well in the second half. Leading the way on the ground is Devine, 15 carries. He would finish with 65 yards and a rushing score. Bird, 9 for 18. Gores, 2 for -11, and Ort, 3 for 1. Devine, 6 receptions for 62 yards. Gores, 7 for 44. Soka Porter, 4 for 64. Kraft had 3 for 22 yards, and Emnith had a reception as well. The player of the game for Bismarck Century, got to go to the senior and quarterback. That, again, is Brady Dahl. He came in with 0 passing touchdowns and 2 interceptions, 532 yards. Well, he got everything going up in his direction, had 188 yards passing. Bismarck Century with their first passing touchdown of the season. That again went to Renz for 34 yards. Brady Dollar, player of the game for the Bismarck Century Patriots. For the Fargo Shanley Deacons, Devine had a nice night again. A guy that had over 100-plus yards of total offense. And in the first half, you were going to give it to the Fargo Shanley front four. I mean, they did a really nice job, the Deacons and Boyle, Carquist, Lang, and Paul, of what they were able to do in that first half of play, but the second half, Century started going more to a shotgun than an I formation look and took care of advantage of it in that one. But Fargo Shanley comes up a little bit short with their backup quarterback, particularly in the second half. Brady Dahl, though, again, is our player of the game. So Bismarck Century, 28 straight, 6-0 now on the season. They host rival Bismarck next up here at the Community Bowl a week from tonight. For Fargo Shanley, they take the trek up north on I-29, and they will travel and go up against Grand Forks Central at 4:30 that game on Friday afternoon. Let's take a look at some finals before we bid adieu across the state of North Dakota. Again, West Fargo gets by Bismarck Legacy 41-25 in that contest. Make sure you go to your live event to check out some of the other finals. West Fargo Cheyenne shuts out Minot 37-0, a final in that game. Cheyenne over Minot, and Fargo Davies in overtime over the Mandan Braves 27-21, and Hillsborough Central Valley leads Langdon Area Elmore Munich 28-13 with 1:21 left to play. If that score holds, the 40-plus game winning streak for the Cardinals goes awry, and the longest winning streak in the state would go to to Bismarck Century at 28 consecutive games. So those are a look at your final numbers. Go to yourliveevent.com. Check out the remainder of that Hillsborough game as well against Langdon Area Elmore Munich and see if the Burros can knock off the Cardinals. On behalf of Reggie Funk, I'm Chase Miller. Thank you very much to Irie Insurance, More Engineering, and a host of others for bringing you high school football here on this Friday, October the 1st. Again, your final from Bismarck, the number 1 Century Patriots 49, Fargo Shanley Deacons the 7-0. Have a great rest of your weekend and enjoy the college football coming up tomorrow across the state of North Dakota.